friends. I'm Prairie Vintage. My name is Linda. I'm an energy intuitive reader here on YouTube. I use spirit, my intuition, the tarot to communicate energies to you guys, fantastic viewers. If you guys are new to this channel, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you guys finally found me. For those of you guys returning, I'm so blessed, so grateful to do your reading again. And you guys are all very safe and welcome in this space with me today. I cannot wait to get into today's reading. We're doing a pick a deck, pick a pile, pick a card reading, and we will be tapping into your energy and looking at what you are not seeing about your situation, circumstance, or current energy. Okay, so maybe you have a misunderstanding, or maybe it's just something you aren't seeing altogether. But if the energy is not your energy that's pulling through, it could certainly be your situation energetically, or people you're dealing with, a person you're dealing with. Okay, it could come through flipped. So if it sounds like it's something going on in your current state, then it's most likely your pile. Okay, but I'm just channeling it how it comes through. You'll have to attribute whose energy that belongs to, situation, circumstance, you or someone else. So there's 4 piles. It's absolutely okay to be drawn to multiple piles. You could be tapping into past, present, future states of energy, because energy is not fixed. And you could also be looking at different aspects of the same situation. Okay, different aspects, different dimensions, different points of view, whatever pulls through here, but don't force it to fit. It should resonate for you guys. So these are the 4 decks we'll be using. We won't be using too much other oracle cards, but I will pull them out so you guys can see what decks we're using. We'll be using the Enneagram Oracle. We'll be using just regular playing cards. We'll be using Kim Krantz Wild Unknown Alchemy Oracle. And we will pull some guidance as well with the Spirit Animal Oracle. All right, beautiful angels, sit with these 4 piles, 4 decks. I will put the timestamp in the description box and in the pinned comment below. It will take you directly to your pick, and I will see you at your pick. Hello, gorgeous angels. Pile number 1. You guys pick the Starman Tarot for your pick. Let us take a look at what it is you're not seeing in regards to your current energy, situation, circumstance that is pulling through here. Okay, so if you don't resonate with this being the energy that you're in, or someone you're dealing with, or around you, then this most likely isn't your pile. Okay, so don't force it to fit, but definitely keep an open mind as to whose energy this is. I will read it as though it is your energy, unless it comes through with multiple energies, and then I will be channeling that as well. So Spirit, for pile 1, what is it right here, right now, that pile 1 is not seeing or understanding in regards to their current energy, situation, circumstance that is pulling through? So I have we have 4 cards, and I forgot to grab these crazy cards. These are just regular playing cards here, which we'll also be pulling. And we will be pulling your oracle cards as well, beautiful people. So pile number 1, what is it that they're not seeing in regards to their current state, their current situation, their current energy at this time, Spirit? Pile 1, please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile 1, Spirit. Thank you so much, pile 1, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. I'm so blessed, so grateful to be here doing your reading. What is it pile 1 is not seeing or understanding in regards to their current situation? And one more oracle deck. pile one's energy, circumstance. What is it that they're not seeing or understanding at this time? Okay, beautiful angels, we will ask for some guidance as well near the end, okay? So let's start with your tarot. I will be taking reversals. We have the Star, Aquarius energy. It is in reverse. We have the Ace of Swords. We have the Ace of Wands, 2 aces. And we have the Hangman in reverse, Pisces energy. Shall we flip these? I think we shall. So for your playing cards, we have the Queen of Pentacles. She is in reverse. The 9 of Swords, or the 8, sorry, 9. The 8 of Swords, 8 of Spades. We have the 7 Swords. And we have the Ace of Swords. So we have the Ace of Swords coming through twice. I do feel like I want to start channeling before we reveal what's going on over here for a bit. Okay, we might get the picture all together once everything sort of comes through here. So let's see. This Ace of Swords is in reverse. This Ace of Swords is in the upright, and we have the 7 Swords right here. Okay, beautiful angels. I do feel like you guys are in, I'm getting your energy from this Queen of Pentacles in reverse, okay? I do feel like there's an energy that you're in regards to wanting a new beginning, starting something, you know? But I do feel like you're feeling stuck. And I do feel like you guys might be putting a lot of what's going on around you on yourself. And so I do feel like you might have at some point, and I don't know where you started to lose faith, if you will, in a plan or in a vision or in something you wanted to work towards or strive towards that might not be working out. It's stuck, or it just seemed to be something that was making you feel stuck. And so I feel like you might be looking at, how do I abandon this thing and just move on or start new? It's like we're getting very stagnant or we're getting tired of being stagnant, of feeling maybe helpless. Like there's a part of you that feels like a situation or a circumstance is out of your hands, but it has so much impact over you. It's like this situation really is feeling like it's calling the shots here, because I don't know if it pays you financially or you're dependent on it for whatever reason here. And it's like, I have a lot of desire to do something, you know, like outside of what this is, but I don't see or understand what's in my power to be able to move forward or move on. So there might be like a hunger to shift yourself altogether from something, or how do I shift this situation? And so what Spirit is talking about here is that you have a mindset right now that is the limitation. And I think the mindset is one that you can't see the outcome, or you've lost hope in something panning out, or you no longer have faith that whatever it was that could manifest here for you is going to. And so I feel like this is the part that Spirit's saying you're not really seeing. You're not seeing the manifestation, or you're not seeing how it could manifest. You're just seeing the parts of yourself that are not aligned with it at this time, and the parts of yourself that feel like you are not in right energy here to support such a thing. Let's see, this might become clear as we start to flip them all around. So we have, I'm not reading these in reverse, okay? So we have 70 with collective plague, stress level, predation, which with abduction, capture, trap, theft, obligation, constraint. 7, type 7, the enthusiast, thinking center between pleasure and pain. I don't know, I'm having such a hard time talking. So the enthusiast with this Ace of Wands, a desire to have a new beginning. This is talking about inspiration and a spark for a new beginning. The thirst is there. Okay, but this obligation I'm really getting from this Queen of Pentacles in reverse. It's like I am stuck, trapped. There's like a feeling, constraint of your ability. But this is what the untruth is here. The 8 swords and the 7 swords, that you're really not stuck or trapped. But I truly feel you feel this way. So this is what we need to understand, but this is all talking about having one track mind, or seeing something from one sort of perspective only. And so what is coming through here as well is like, how we understand that we only see our own perspective at all times, and that there's a greater truth that exists, whether we see it or we don't see it. And because we are incapable of seeing all perspectives, because we are sort of in one dimension here, that it would be foolish of us to think that we know everything. I don't think you know everything, but I feel like this message is coming through here because there might be a discouraging energy saying, well, it is what it is, then it's never going to happen. But it's like Spirit saying, well, you're only seeing it from your perspective, that there is other things happening in other dimensions, and the universe is at play. But just because we don't see it doesn't mean it's not existing. And so we might be very fixated on what we see, the thing that's not working, the thing that's feels like it's holding us back or limiting us in some way, because we're not seeing. But we want a new beginning, and we want clarity. So let's keep going. So we have joy. Compulsion ideal number 7, ego level. It says lots of projects. Enthusiasm coming through for a third time. Enthusiasm with the Ace of Wands, and enthusiasm here with joy. Pleasure, freedom from this thing. Optimism, good mood. Type 7, the enthusiast, thinking center between pleasure and pain. Again. And we have temperance. So Sagittarius energy with 97, or number 7. You guys, look how many 7s. 7, 7, 7. Last reading I did, we had a whole bunch of 7s too, I'm pretty sure. And I've been seeing a lot of 7. Look, another 7. I'm seeing a lot of 7s. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 7s. Wow. Okay, so 97 virtue growth levels is temperance, moderation, sobriety, realism, restraint, simpleness, rooted, hope. Stars in reverse here. Type 7, the enthusiast, thinking center between pleasure and pain. I feel like we're going through a lot of pain here, or the suffering part of something. And we're wondering, when will the joy come? So green is the heart chakra. Okay, it's coming from the heart space. Let's take a look what we have. The void, number 42, or the number 6. And we have wise salt, 28, or the number 10. Okay, I'm going to put that like this. My cat is meowing. How are we going to do this, Spirit? You guys see that? You guys can see that. And we have the uncreated, 43, 47, 47, 43 with the number 7 again. You guys going to buy a lottery ticket or what? 77777. Like 7 is all about faith, wisdom. Okay, faith. We have the star in reverse again, okay? The hangman in reverse is also talking about what? We're not enlightened yet or seeing it from the perspective of maybe having the wisdom or the faith because we haven't received the understanding just yet. It's also 7's about reflection and understanding. 7's also chariot energy, which is success. Okay, but it's like we're working with the universe to sort of find balance with this temperance. 7's also tower energy, which is a deconstruction of something. Okay, the uncreated. Look at these new beginnings with the wands. We have vinegar and the yellowing, very similar colors. So we have 34. So that's 7 again. Oh my goodness, you guys. Another 7. You guys saw me shuffle. And we have 14, which is temperance. Okay, which we have here. Sagittarius energy again in yellowing. Something dying off. Vinegar is something that could certainly have ruined the broth, you know, like too much of something that isn't good, but there's so much too that is good that we may not be seeing. Okay, let me channel what this is, you guys. It is coming through a lot more clearer here, but let's see. Okay, beautiful people. It's a very simple message, okay? No matter how much you want this thing, because I feel like the star is talking about your vision for the future or an understanding of an outcome. And you're losing a lot of hope because I do feel there is something not good about what you're experiencing. And it also makes you feel very limited and stuck in some way, however you're feeling stuck, okay? I do believe you feel that you are stuck. And as long as we feel we are stuck, then we feel stuck. Because there are parts of this thing that I feel are out of your hands. Okay? And just because there's things out of our hands doesn't mean that it is stuck. Doesn't mean that it isn't progressing. But I think maybe you feel like if you can't progress it yourself or be in the know of the progression or be involved in the movement of that thing or have impact on that thing itself, that it is either stuck, not working, or it won't pan out. Mindset. And so I feel like you're sort of thinking that you're on your own to build this thing. And it's like, if I can't do it, then it's never going to pan out. But how much faith then do we have in the divine? Because I do feel faith is really pulling through with all these 7s, which does talk about faith. Okay. And 77 is a master number. It's trust the fall, an adventure that arises from deep wisdom. Okay. Trust of life and trust of self. So chariot is trusting the universe and ourselves to navigate. So the temperance is talking about having patience and things sort of ironing out in a way here so it is workable. There is something uncreated. You have a lot of zest for something. I don't want you to lose the zest because I do feel like you feel your joy is tied to this thing. There's a lot of enthusiasm about what this could be, and we're slowly losing the wind in our sails saying, yeah, well, it's probably not going to happen, or, you know, and then our mood gets ruined. And then we might start to do things that sabotage our energy or this thing. It's like, I don't even want to be available to it, or I can't, I don't know. We start to get maybe lower vibe energy or act in certain ways that isn't in line with it manifesting instead of trusting and having faith in the universe here. And you might think like, well, I don't want to keep holding out for faith here because that's the root of all suffering here, is like having this hope and this belief in something that it hasn't yet proved itself, you know, and it could be very exhausting here. I'm feeling like we might get robbed of something here. We have theft and we have the 7 swords, you know, and so I feel like this is the 8 swords that you're dealing with and not seeing. you're putting a lot of weight towards your own capacity to get involved in something, like I mentioned, and not trusting that the universe is unfolding something here that I do feel it is something that is part of your destined path, okay, and is aligned with the divine in some way here. And I do feel like maybe because we're so hungry for a new beginning, you know, and we want to see, and it's like, I can't see that part. The divine's keeping me sort of in the blind. And it's like, yeah, the divine's keeping you sort of not seeing it because it's not been created just yet. But I do feel like things need to die off energetically and become the right sort of ingredient here in order for this thing to really merge, okay, like and blossom and bloom. But not only this thing, but also your energy, because it's a dance of two things that I feel are having to be in the right ingredients, the right temperature, in order for there to be synergy, for it to work together. And that means dying off of things that don't belong with the Tower energy, which I was also feeling from the 7. Okay, and those are the things that could, like I say, ruin the broth. Because there's certain things that are existing right now that are not conducive to this thing being really successful until the shift sort of happens. And I feel like during this, there's a lot of wisdom to be had. We're learning a lot of things here that maybe we, I don't know, are they taking for granted here, which is interesting because 7 is all about wisdom. And the wise salt talks about us knowing through experience, having a greater wisdom of understanding and being able to apply this. And so there's certain lesson here, you know, whatever we're going through, it is a lesson. And so we're learning lots about ourselves, and we're learning lots about things that maybe we might not be seeing just yet. But when we look back, maybe in hindsight, it's like, wow, like from point A to point Z, I kind of changed completely, or I understood things about myself, or I see things kind of differently, or I have a deeper understanding. And so maybe during this process as well, it's like, because this uncreated and this void are kind of similar in a way, because it's like out of nothing, something can be created. But when we're sitting with the nothing, it's like we can either see it as it is nothing and it'll forever be nothing, you know, or we could see it as untapped potential. It could be everything. Like there is no limitation because it isn't developed yet. So it's a positive because it could be all things. It's not stuck to one thing. It's still uncreated and undeveloped. And so there's an unlimited possibility of what it could be. Sky's the limit, you know, or we could just say it's nothing and it'll forever be nothing. So these are two accurate perspectives, but you know, which one do we want to sit with? Because if we sit with this is nothing and it'll forever be nothing, we're kind of sitting with a reverse hangman. We're not trusting in the divine, and we don't believe in the universe being all abundant, all things at once, that it's already created. It already exists. You know, every dimension and timeline's happening all at once. And so this has already been created. And I feel like it is something that is very destined here. And so if you're feeling like there's nothing you can do, or restricted, or confined to something, or dependent on something else, there's a very good reason why. And so Spirit's wanting you to look at, what are we learning? And don't lose the hope. Like, get rooted in that understanding that there's an unlimited thing that could be born here. Okay, so I think you know this, because to see the star here, it's like more than just a wish fulfillment. It is a destined path, I feel, here for you. You know, and I do feel like with this vinegar, it's like it's been an unpleasant experience, because this is the unpleasant part. Like a tower is never fun. and I'm really feeling with this yellowing, it's like the die off the tower, the things that are going to ruin a coming together or a functioning, successful build of a manifestation that has to be rooted in reality, and it has to not come with things that could sabotage or create something that would lead this down a different path. So let's take a look at your advice and your guidance here. Okay, so it's mostly about how you're seeing this thing, and it does sound like a message of hope, and I don't like to give false hope and that sort of thing, because that would not do you any good at all. Like if you feel like you've been burning your tires, it's like, this is how I feel. I feel like you've been burning your tires, not seeing anything, and just losing hope, and the messaging is very, very clear to me. It's like, don't allow what it is that you are seeing be the dictator here of whether this thing is manifesting or not. Now, don't get attached to outcome, but Spirit doesn't want you losing hope. So that's what we're probably learning here, is like, how do I move through this? I could really resonate with this sort of an energy. It's like, I don't want to attach to anything if it's going to not pan out, but it's like, why would I remain hopeful here, only to be sort of disappointed? But I guess, like I say, like everything's sort of happening here as the universe wants it to unfold. So we're looking at some guidance and some advice to help you through this, okay? Beautiful pile one. We have electric eel spirits. Bring your ideas to life, 24. So number 6. So 6 is lovers. Lover's path is like a choice, okay, to go down a path. And the path is usually a destined path here with the lovers. And so I feel like with this bring ideas to life, this is this uncreated energy. This is us sitting with untapped potential and then throwing it away because we can't see the finished result or understand how it's going to get there. Let Spirit guide you through this process. Like understand the joy you want and then give it up to the universe to sort of bring you there. Like you're not stuck. No matter how stuck you feel, this is a limiting mindset. This is, as long as you keep putting yourself back on that stuck energy, remember that it's your mindset. It's your mindset. And the more you have this, the more we sort of bring our energy to this vinegar. And this is the thing that needs to die away here. Okay, so we could be in the right, like I said, temperance energy to have something manifest. Armadillo spirit said healthy boundaries with the number 3. So I do feel like 3 talks about the initial success, growth of something. Okay, but 3 is also hangman energy. And so I feel like there needs to be an understanding of this balanced way of engagement with this healthy boundaries. Because if we get attached to an outcome, if we're too heavily energetically charged towards something, thinking we're the doer of it, and it doesn't get done, then we're disappointed. Then we, we're either in one energy or another. And that's why we're seeing the Chariot with the light and the dark. But it's not a this or a that. It's do what you can and understand the things that you cannot do or that are out of your control or with the divine. That the divine is working its magic, okay? And you have to trust that the divine is doing this. I mean, you could do what you want, but if we don't trust the divine, then how arrogant can we be that we're the only doer here? That the divine has no control or power, that nothing's really destined, that it's all the little I that's driving about making all of these choices. But the choice really here with the lovers is like, yes, we have free will. Okay, but the divine is the one that's carved this path, this destined path here that's putting it in front of you. You don't got to put the path in front of you. You just have to make the choices and guide this chariot as it moves through. Okay, so you might be wanting to go too fast. You might be wanting your outcome now. And it's like, it's not time just yet. Okay, dragonfly spirit, truth transcends illusion. So here we're talking about the reverse Ace of Swords. Here we have the upright Ace of Swords, and here we have the 7 Swords. So this could be like we could see it as an illusion because it's could be the in denial or the lack of truth, the lack of seeing something here. And so I really feel like this dragonfly spirit, truth transcends illusion. It's saying there is truth with a capital T. What the universe knows. It is true regardless of what you feel or think, because those are all subjective. Okay, and they create 8 swords in us. But just because we're in an 8 swords doesn't take away from the truth of the universe. The universe has the ultimate truth. This transcends the illusion that we hang on to, the belief we have or the understanding we have. So regardless of whether you understand or don't understand or feel bad or feel good or feel stuck or whatever, Spirit's saying it's happening. Like, it's happening. Okay, but you could ruin the broth here with your energy of the vinegar. Now, that doesn't mean it's not going to present itself in front of you. It just means you don't have to suffer here. You don't have to be in this mindset here. This is a choice you're making because you're not seeing it from the perspective that the universe is going to unfold a great truth that trumps your illusion, your understanding. Okay, so we see 22. So 2s are about balance, which we saw with the Chariot. Okay, duality and choices, which we saw with the Lovers. So you have a choice always in front of you. And the choice this time's talking about our perspective, how we engage, how we want to hold the faith, or how we want to see this unfolding is a choice. Okay, and then the 2s create a 4, which is the foundation, the stability, and the planning. So something's uncreated here. And when we create something, sometimes it's kind of gets created on the fly, right? Like an artist would know. It doesn't sort of get maybe the final result right away. It's like laying the foundation of that beautiful masterpiece, okay, which is happening. But I feel like this is reminding me of like giving birth to something. This is looking very much like the birthing canal. And when we give birth to like a baby, like it's comes through sort of complete, but it was in here incubating. And so this is what I'm feeling is like your star is incubating in the realms of the unmanifest, and it's coming together. So when it is born, it's like it's already completed. Like you don't have to, I don't know, like figure it out. Like that's the groundwork that's happening right now. That's the thing that's coming together, but you're not seeing it. And so it becomes an unreality for you, but it's not necessarily true. That the mother who's pregnant here, just because she doesn't see the baby, she's not going to say the baby doesn't exist. I don't see it. I don't see it. Meanwhile, it's, being put together within her, especially let's say the first few months, even she might not even look like she's pregnant here. Right. So, but there's so much that has happened. I feel there's so much happening and you're not seeing, you're getting discouraged. Okay. So 22 is a master number. This is all about peacemaker. And it's falling right on temperance. And we got to temperance here as well. Okay. So peacemaker is like managing our energy, maybe our expectations. It's also about divinely guided relationships. So it could be a coming together of a relationship. Okay. It doesn't have to be an intimate partnership, but we are in relationship with everything. So it's like the relationship, the coming together has many moving parts, you, and then the other part in order to create the temperance, the synergy, bake the cake. We need the flour and we need the egg, or else the flour just sits there doing nothing, right? So this is what's happening here. Okay. But trust in the truth, because I do feel like the divine is sort of concocting this thing. And the koi fish spirit, there's always enough with 36 or the number 9. So falling on the vinegar, there is always enough. I feel like maybe there is a scarcity mindset, a lack mindset here. And it's almost like this is what this is giving the flavor of. It's like the mother is pregnant. She's 4 months pregnant. Let's just say, I don't know how long you are. Or maybe you're ready to give birth. Okay. So don't take this as like a timeline at all. But let's just say she's 4 months pregnant. But she doesn't see it at all. and she's saddened because she doesn't have a baby in her arms. But the baby is it's already conceived. It's like inside of her. It's going to be born. It's already there. That's the thing, is like, it's already here. But if she starts to like act as though she doesn't have the baby and she's all scarcity mindset again, like it's not happened, I don't see it, it's like, that's an illusion. That's just her believing something that is completely not even true. And I feel like maybe if we have that, it's like, I do feel it could ruin, like not well, it could kind of ruin the baby, because imagine if she doesn't know that she has a baby, like she starts, I don't know, drinking, partying, doing things here that a mother wouldn't do, knowing. So there has to be like an inner trust and an inner knowing here in this thing, and maybe you lost faith because of the sevens again, like completely. Anyway, I'm repeating myself, but this is kind of how I feel, there's a losing of faith, there's not trusting, and there's thinking the little I is the one that's going to make something happen. Meanwhile, the universe is bringing you back into humbleness, saying, hey, pile number one, the universe is in control, not you, and you will have choices put in front of you, but be patient and let the cake sort of build. And I do feel like, unlike the mother, where we're seeing the progress, maybe her getting bigger and bigger, so we feel like a little bit more certain, right? Because we could see it. I think it's like a pregnancy where we don't see anything at all, and until it's born. This is kind of what I'm picking up here, because there's something greater right now that I think needs to be understood by you. And I feel with the rainbow and this hangman, because I do always get, I get a lot from rainbow. One, I get the rainbow does symbolize hope. Okay. And I feel sometimes hope could be, again, the cause of suffering. So I don't like to give hope stories, but I feel like there's a need to maintain the faith and the understanding of something that you might have lost a lot of hope in happening, which Spirit is talking about there being many different perspectives of seeing something, and not to get fixated on one sort of point. It didn't happen like this, therefore it won't happen. It's not happening the way that I thought, therefore no. Or I only see the thing that I cannot do and limited, and therefore because I'm stuck and limited like this thing would require me to be like this or like that, or have this money, or be set up like that. Therefore, it's not going to happen. And that's not true. That's your limiting mindset again. I do feel for a lot of you guys also, this period of limbo is going to come to an end faster than maybe you think, because I do feel like you guys have been in this for quite some time. I'm seeing a new beginning. Okay, the new beginning is going to happen here. You don't see it. It's just going to be born out of nothing. This thing is created. Okay, now I say nothing, but I do feel it's been brewing. It's been brewing for some time here, and it is your greatest joy, and I feel it is going to liberate you, because I do feel like it is so aligned with something, you're destined and connected to. And it's like, finally, like I'm connected to my great joy. I'm connected to this beautiful thing that's, I don't know, you felt apart from in some way, but focus on allowing Spirit to do its thing. Shed what needs to be shed. This, letting go of any sort of things here that are like creating distaste for you, and monitoring your mindset here. If it isn't a scarcity mindset, saying, I'm limited because of a thought, I'm limited because I don't see, but that doesn't mean it's not happening. Okay, and it won't be taken from you, because I feel like maybe a lot of you guys feel like it'll be robbed of you, or this experience or this opportunity is going to fall, and it's not. Okay, I don't feel this is what this is talking about at all. So trust, beautiful angels, and get yourself a lottery ticket with all the sevens. So 7 for sure. We see 24, 22, 36, number 3, 14. Okay, 42. 97, 34. So, gorgeous angels, I love you guys very much, and I will see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Hello, gorgeous angels. Pile number 2, the Cosmic Slumber Tarot. Can't wait to get into your reading. Beautiful angels, we're looking at what it is that you're not currently seeing or understanding in regards to your current circumstance, situation, energy going on right now. This could be you, someone around you, your situation. Attribute it to whoever, however you see fit in your circumstance, okay? If there's multiple energies pulling through, I will do my best to differentiate these 2, 3 or 4, or however many come through. So let's take a look. Let's ask Spirit for beautiful pile number 2 in regards to what is going on energetically around them that they're currently not seeing or understanding at this time. Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of beautiful angels. Pile number 2. Please protect me and the viewer for the greatest and highest good of pile number 2 and what they have going on here energetically. Thank you so much, Spirit. Thank you so much, pile 2, for allowing me to tap into your energy. The energy around you at this time. I'm so blessed to be here. So grateful. We will pull some oracles as well, and then we will pull some advice at the end of this reading. So we have the moon energy pulling through. Cancer, Pisces. And the moon is crying here. So Spirit, clear and concise message. What is it that pile 2 is not seeing or understanding, needing to know about their current situation or circumstance at this time? Thank you so much. I'm going to put these over here because I do feel they're part of your message, but I feel we need 2 more cards here. Wow, Spirit's making it easy for me today. Sarcasm. We have a card in limbo here. Okay. So we have 2 more oracle packs we'll use. I know, sorry, this process takes a bit, but Spirit for beautiful angels, pile number 2. What is it that they're not seeing or understanding right here, right now, at this time? Thank you so much, Spirit, for this message. We are so grateful to be here. Please help me to channel this message in a way that pile number 2 will understand what is being delivered at this time. What are they needing to know? And finally, the alchemy cards for pile number 2. Energetically, what is going on here that they are needing to see and understand that they're not seeing at this time? Okay. I don't know how many we're going to flip. We'll see how this comes through. Okay, let's start with your tarot, though. So we have the moon, Pisces, Cancer. We have the Hermit, Virgo. And we have the 4 of Swords. So major, major. I will flip these playing cards to see. We have the Ace of Wands in reverse. So aces talk about new beginnings. And in limbo, we have the Joker card, which I read as the Fool, Aquarius energy. New beginning, new beginning. And we have the 2 of Swords. Okay. Let me sit here with this energy for a bit. Okay. Beautiful angels. It kind of sounds like a similar message as one, but I feel it's a different energy altogether here. Okay. I don't know. Maybe there is some connection in some way, but there is with the moon here and with the 2 swords. It's like we're not completely understanding or sold or see a clear path ahead of us. I think we want to see something, like we want to maybe have a clear path of understanding or certainty, because I feel like we're feeling we cannot drive towards something we absolutely want with this Ace of Wands. This is about having the passion and the inspiration and the desire to move towards something. Okay, like a spark of something that gets us to move towards it because we have a desire for it. But something is getting in your way here. The moon can talk about fear. The moon can talk about our emotions. The moon can talk about the subconscious that houses certain things here that might be needing to be healed. or needed to be acknowledged. This moon's eyes are closed and it's crying. And so I'm getting lots with the emotions here, but also about not seeing. So I feel like the reason we're not seeing the way forward, I think we're disappointed about not being able to see or just jump into it, take the risk and just jump into it, because I feel we want this really bad. And so it might pain us or make us feel bad that we can't. But I think what you're sort of, I don't think, how do I word this? I don't think that you see that it is more on you than it is your situation or your circumstance. Because I do feel like for a lot of you guys, it's like this situation or the circumstance has to become more clear, or it's, I don't know, like you have an understanding that that's the thing that's not becoming ready, or that's not carving the path just yet. But meanwhile, it's like the reason it's not is because you're still processing something here. And some of you guys might know that you're processing something, but there's a need to process that before we can move forward. And maybe we're putting the cart before the horse. It's like, now we're sad, like I can't move towards that and it's not going to happen, or I don't see it, or meanwhile is just like, not yet, because we need to release something here or understand something about ourselves so that we drop the baggage so we can be clear and free. And maybe we're dragging our feet about healing that thing. And this could be something that is subconscious. It's like we forever don't heal the thing. And then we might stay here like sad about the fact that we can't move forward. And it's like, okay, but we have the ability to heal the thing, or release the emotion, or look at the thing within us in the subconscious, acknowledge it, address it, deal with that baggage or that burden or that understanding or release of emotion, whatever it is, because there's something here that weighs us down. And it's getting in the way of that movement or that new beginning that we want. And so we sit here humming and hawing. And one sword is like, I have to, like either sword here, I feel is going to be a trade-off. And so we do nothing. That's kind of how I feel. And Spirit is saying, like, there's only one thing to do here. The one thing to do here is to take a look at the pain or the subconscious or the trapped emotion. Then everything becomes easy or clear, but we're maybe looking at two things, two choices, not clearly, because I feel like one is the path of the new, which would require the liberated you, that you aren't there yet, as we know and we see. So that sword is sort of true, but it's in the future. And the other sword, I think, is you misunderstanding. It's like, it's me just staying here, or me choosing something. It's like, no, that's not what the choice is. There's only one other choice here. Well, I mean, yeah, you could sit there and suffer and not look at it for sure, but that's not going to help you. So Spirit's saying the two choices is only really one choice. And the one choice is to deal with this. So that's all you're left with after you deal with this, is the one new beginning, the one thing that you're saying that you want, because I do feel there's something you want. And maybe you don't connect to it just yet, or maybe it's not coming to you. So it's like I feel stuck or in a rut maybe. And it's like, well, that fire will come and that thing will excite you, but only when you deal with the thing that you're being called to deal with. So there's some dragging of feet and sabotage here. I don't know if you just don't understand to see it, or if your subconscious is really trying to distract you from dealing with this thing. We'll see more as this becomes clearer. So we have compartmentation. Compartmentation, sorry. Can't say that word. It looks like it has extra syllables to me. So 32, number 5. Fragmentation, isolation, division, cleavage, lowering, separation. Type 5, the observer, thinking center between interior and exterior with defense mechanism. Okay. And then we have 108 with the number 9 here. Essence, growth level, love, forgiveness, gift of self, self-love, love of life, compassion, and reconciliation. Type 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting oneself. Okay, it's becoming a little more clear. And we have withdrawal, mentalization, conspiracy, isolation, pullback, disinvestment, aggressiveness. Type 8, the challenger, instinctive center between strength and weakness, disintegration. Number 80 or the number 8, 8 and 5. Sorry. Okay, let's take a look at these. So we have Pluto, number 10, Scorpio energy. So subconscious really pulling through with Pluto here. Our shadow. Okay, and then we have mortification, more Scorpio energy here with the death. Okay, so we have the number 68. So number 14, or temperance energy, right? Yeah. Okay. So Sagittarius is where, as well as Scorpio pulling through. And I feel that's the thing. Yeah, it's like the Sagittarius and the Scorpio battling each other. Because the Scorpio is that subconscious, you know, even though we have Cancer, Pisces here, I'm feeling a lot of Scorpio energy because I was getting subconscious need to deal with trapped emotions in some way here. But it's battling the Sagittarius energy that wants to go, wants to explore, wants to be fired up here. So the fire is put out in some way here. And then we have the sun splendor. Yeah, 53 or the number 8. We'll see these shortly, okay? Oops. So the number 8. 8 is Leo energy, strength, and courage to face what we need to. It's also star energy, Aquarius, which we have with the Fool. Okay, so star is about healing, which we have with the Four Swords. It's our vision for the future, but it's change, it's attainment, it's movement. And so this is like a 10 cups with the sun splendor. It's like our joy, our bliss, our future happiness here. Okay, so and 10 cups could certainly involve another. It's the ideal sort of future here. Okay, so let me channel what's pulling through now with this extra layer here. Okay, it just builds on what I had communicated here. I feel like there is a new sort of twist here. Kind of. It's this Ace of Wands, and I'm not sure what this represents for all of you guys. Okay, we might, for all of you guys, you don't want to be in the state you're in. You'd much rather be in like an excitable energy here. And for some of you guys, there is something you want to go after already. A relationship, a job, a thing. Like you want the new beginning. You want to be excited about life again. So this does almost feel like a depression in some way, you know? But it doesn't have to be depression so much as maybe a spiritual journey. Maybe we're in the void. Maybe we're stuck in some rut of sorts, you know? And it's like this for a very good reason. Spirit is really saying when we're in this energy, we're doing a lot of healing. We got to connect to our subconscious and we got to release a lot of trapped emotions. And we might not understand exactly why we're isolated or why we're withdrawn or what's happening exactly. And this is for our own sort of good in order for us to shed. Okay, so I feel like there's a lot that you're carrying in your subconscious here. A lot of pain, a lot of emotions trapped. And we might justify some of it, you know, this happened because of that, or I've always carried it this way. And so there's like a lot of, I'm seeing here, I'm picking this up more intuitively. It's like, what is it called? Habitual ways that we have been. And so we justify and it becomes a part of our norm. I think there's a word for that, but it's a part of our norm. And so we don't question it anymore. This is how I've been. And it's not that you're stubborn saying, this is how I am, so therefore I want it to be like this. No. But when we are so close to it, when our nose is so pressed up against it, or we're so in the weeds of it, because it's a part of who we are, it's integrated into how we've always been. It's like we don't know any other way different. And so I feel like we've carried a lot of things that aren't ours to carry. And the universe is wanting you to understand and see this. But it's taking a lot of having to process and flesh out, and maybe a lot of questions, like really digging in deeper than we have even. And I might think, I went so deep already. And it's like, yeah, but it's the things here now that are so intertwined into who you are that you're not even seeing it, because it's not maybe even a part of who you are, or there's a need to deeply understand what is you, what's been ingrained in you, and what it is that you can release. And it could be things we've carried from many lifetimes, or like generational things here that have been passed down to us, ancestral traumas and energy blocks, like that deep, that would help going through like even a past life regression sort of thing. But for some of us, it's just through this lifetime, because there's more here. I feel there's a lot more here. And if you have been on this journey, you might be very exhausted already. And Spirit is saying the more you release and let that sort of connect to it, however it comes out, you don't have to know what to do with it aside from connecting to it, and it will do its thing. Like the emotion that's there, as long as you connect to it, will be released. We might feel sad. We might just see it for the first time. We might finally understand it, and then we could put it in the place in which it belongs. This is discarded. This isn't really me. This is me. Or why is this me? Is this truly me? Is this something that could change about me? Is this something I want to change about me? What is my eternal light? And what is something that I've carried here? Because I feel like there's a lot of this energy that we really have going on right now that is getting in the way of this rebirth. Okay? And so you're held up by the universe, by the divine. Because if it were up to you, I feel you'd want to explore. You would just not want to even spend time doing any of that. It's like, I want a new beginning already, to have fun, enjoy, and have a 10 cups. Who doesn't want a 10 cups? Ideal relationship, a future here. I could be happy, running barefoot in the sun, swimming in the water. And it's like, I can't do this. I can't explore this because it's so heavy and it's so draining. And it's like, there's still a need to understand forgiveness and connect to self, because I feel like there's a need for love of self, and then there's a need to get that zest of life back. It happens organically, because I feel like we've lost our zest about ourselves, and we might have lost our zest about life. And it's like, it's okay. We're being reborn. The shedding is part of the process. You will be coming together again with love. You will be coming together again with self. You will be coming together again with relationship. You will be coming together again with something that is exciting and childlike and fun. But right now it's like blah, like it's very heavy and it's very withdrawn and isolated. And then we start to get in our own mind here with, am I going to be isolated forever? Like, am I going to be this disinterested in life forever? It's not exciting, and it's not producing, and I can't choose to just move forward. And it's like Spirit saying, no, you can't. I mean, you could try, but the energy won't just come out of nowhere. We got to cultivate the energy from within, which takes reflection. It takes healing. It takes patience. It takes love, and maybe we're feeling like, I don't want to spend any more time with this. And it's like, this is where we need to show love. The inner child needs to be embraced, and it needs to be shown that we're here as long as it takes, so it doesn't feel rushed. And then it's more likely to heal. It's more likely to come out. Because I feel like we're hanging on to a lot of grief, a lot of pain, and certain things we might need to forgive about others or ourselves, experiences even, because nobody has the heaviness except for the person that's hanging on to the grief, the anger, the resentment, or the challenge. And we can say, I'm not angry, I'm not mad, but it's like the energy that we're hanging on to is needing to be released. That is what I'm calling the resentment. Okay, so if we have that energy that's looking at past situations, We're allowed to feel it didn't go well and feel grief and feel sad or mad or upset. But that is one process. Like if we know about like the 12-step program or the 12 steps of the grieving process or however many steps, there's many steps. Okay. We are on a certain step. I don't know what step we're on, but there's more. And I feel you're stuck on one step. And then we, like I said, we could justify it or we don't realize we're justifying it. And this is what you're not seeing is like you're the one feeding that saying, but this is what happened. And maybe you're so close to it that you're not seeing it from another angle or perspective that's like, yes, but you are the one that's hanging on to that heaviness, justifying it or being so close to it and seeing it as the only thing that is real. That's like, no, there's so many other things that are real, like letting go of this, forgiving it, seeing it as something that was supposed to happen. And I know that's hard to take. Like, why should it have happened? It's like, because the divine knows what it's doing. Maybe to show you love, maybe to show you, to extend to you a way of you understanding, to extend compassion to self, compassion to others, knowing how to forgive, when we feel so hurt. How do we overcome that? So we're kind of on pause, hanging on, harboring that feeling, and then getting discouraged, feeling saddened about it. It's like, no, we need to shed that. Okay, we need to for ourselves, not so we could forgive someone else or not so we can reconcile that relationship or not so that we can have that happen again, but so that we ourselves aren't in this lower state. So we ourselves can come out of this period. This is the process of healing, but it takes real questions and asking ourselves many different questions than that in which you're asking yourself, because I feel like you're asking yourself or telling yourself is more what I should say here, some form of what's happening to you and that you have an understanding and you're justifying that is why things are how they are. And Spirit's saying, no, you just have one sort of experience. And so it's painted your understanding in a certain way. And so that's how you're seeing it. But we got to get out of our own mind and we got to sort of step out of this in order to really then see the subconscious, because we got to be conscious, like I say, in the subconscious. Because if we go in the subconscious with the same energy we were in, we'll never see it. We're kind of one and the same. It's like being in the mind to use the mind to debunk the mind. You can't. If you're in the subconscious with the subconscious, you can't see it. And so the answer here is really talking about embodying the opposite, integrating the opposite here. What does it mean to integrate the opposite? It's like integrating forgiveness, integrating self-love, integrating love of life, integrating that. And even if we don't feel it, it's like we have to integrate it to cultivate it. We have to integrate it to see it. We have to integrate it to depolarize that negativity, Now, I say negativity only because it's like a heavy energy and everything is polarity. So you have the positive and the negative polarity. That doesn't mean good or bad. It's just energy. And so we're sitting in the negative polarity. And so you could either infuse the negative polarity with more negativity, justifying it, seeing it, having reasons why it is what it is, so it becomes bigger, or we could depolarize the negativity by leaning into the opposite polarity, which is love, positivity, gratitude, compassion. And even if we only feel it a small bit, it becomes bigger and bigger and depolarizes this energy, because right now we're sitting very heavy in this, okay? This is the healing process. Let it take as long as it takes. And you might say, I've been here for so long. But if we've been so long feeding the negative polarity, then we keep staying in that cycle longer than we need to. Okay, so there's no need to, because future Spirit is promising a future here of sun splendor. This is the most positive card here in the alchemy cards, which talks about a happy, harmonious, joyful, blissful future here with others, okay, creating this happiness. So let's take a look at these cards, beautiful angel, and then we'll get you some advice. So we have the 10 Pentacles. Look at that. Building something over time that will stand the test of time. Okay, this is a very long time, though. 10 Pentacles takes a very, very long time, but it's our future stability. It's the growth, something we could rely on for the future. The Ace of Swords. Now, this is in reverse. Okay, so new beginning. And we have the 10 Wands. So 10 Wands talks about feeling oppressed, feeling heavy, something that's better left put down. Okay, but we have two tens. Tens are about completions and ends of cycles. And the transformation, which I'm really feeling here, is spiritual transformation, releasing the things that don't serve us. But 10 is sun energy, which I'm feeling from the sun splendor, the joy. Sun can also represent enlightenment, consciousness. Okay, Leo energy, clarity, divine masculine energy. And so we might feel like we have no oomph. We can't go after anything. We don't feel the zest. We don't feel joyful. We don't feel the warmth of the sun. 10's also Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune can talk about cycles. I feel trapped in a cycle or wanting things to get better and feeling like at the mercy of the universe here. And in some way we are, but feeling very burdened here, not seeing our way through or not understanding clarity yet because we can't grasp some form of truth. And Spirit's saying you can't see the truth when you're too clouded. You can't see the truth when the emotions are too heavy. We can't see the truth and our way through when the subconscious here is full of shadow, pain, resentments, negative polarity. 3 of Pentacles. So this is being able to collaborate and build and work with others to create something, okay, whatever it might be. Create a future, create an empire, create the 10 Pentacle. So some of you guys might feel very alone here, isolation, pull back. We have the Hermit, so there's heavy isolation. And it's like, why can't I be in workable energy? Why can't I create with someone? Why is it that I'm not able to move in that direction or have the zest for any of this stuff or just have this new beginning already? And here we're sitting the 2 swords, and Spirit's saying there's only really one sword right now that we have to work on, and that's the sword of truth. And right now it's blurry. Okay, now this doesn't mean that all the things that happened to you were your fault, but right now, and it's not even about fault, but it's like, where does the onus sit? The onus sits on pile number 2. To see the truth, not on Spirit. Yes, Spirit is involved in this, but Spirit isn't going to do anything outside of leaving you to figure this sort of thing out. So 1, you can invite Spirit in and say, Spirit, show me the way and help me see. And I feel a lot of you guys might have already done that, and you guys are here. So you're asking to see. Okay, what do you need to see? You haven't seen yet because your nose is too close to it. You're carrying burdens you don't need to carry, of pains and experiences and emotions and trapped things in the subconscious that you've already wrote off as you understand it, or that's the story and you're sticking to it. It's the truth that I know. It's the experience I had. It's the whatever. And it's like, no. Okay, and why it's no is because that's just one perspective. There's so many other ways we can see it. And so we need to process that. And we only process and release by integrating the opposite energy. I feel sad. We have to look at the things that make us feel happy. Okay, like this is how we energetically work as our alchemy. Okay, this could even be working with our energy with the 3 Pentacles. And I feel like this is what's really coming through. It's like working with the tools you can. The second power, you and another power, to create the thing. And I think the thing you want to create is happiness and joy. And you're under one energy. And the other energy you're not utilizing here is your alchemy. Okay? Because you can think of things that you're grateful for. You can think of things here that create the opposite energy, that infuse yourself with that positive energy so that we can shift this. Because this will become more apparent and clear the minute we're not feeding it and so ingrained in that belief. Okay, so we might just keep focusing, we're separate, we're isolated, we're on our own, we're whatever. And Spirit is saying, like, even though you might see that as a reality, which, yes, if there's no one around you, then you're alone. But it's like, that's not the truth of what's going on right here, right now, and all the energy and all the dimensions happening right here, right now. You are however you see yourself. And so if you see yourself this way, this is what you continue to feed. Okay, you don't need to feed it. You just need to see, accept where you're at, and then shed that so that there can be a beautiful, new, exciting new beginning here. But the new beginning requires you to put down that energy. It requires you to release and transform this, because there is something for you to build. Okay, this is like 10 Pentacles and 10 Cups. A happily ever after that can stand the test of time. And you're the one that's going to have to be in workable energy. If you're not in workable energy, then it stays as sort of this potential. Okay, so only one truth, and you're not healed enough to see that truth, because maybe you're too much focused on the thing that is the potential, or when will this come, or why aren't I there? And it's like, no, let's deal with this thing first, because this thing that you're dealing with here is not even an entity, it's an energy, and it needs to be sort of worked through, like the alchemy, transmuted. There's nothing really going on in the subconscious here when it comes to real entity, but there's a lot going on when it comes to energy. And like I said, the negative polarity, holding on to that heaviness, that experience, that understanding, that pain, that suffering, that experience that we didn't like. So let's get you some guidance, even though we had some guidance here. Pile number 2. Guidance for beautiful pile number 2, Spirit. What are they needing to know? But this is all about healing. Beaver Spirit, lay a solid foundation. Number 6. So 6 is problem solving. It's also about compassion, which we see compassion here. Harmony. Okay, but laying a solid foundation means we got to do the groundwork first. We can't just jump the gun. And maybe you want to jump the gun and have a new future and just leave this sort of in the past. It's like, well, we need to just acknowledge, lay the foundation first so that things can be successful. Because if we start to go into, let's just say, a new job, a new relationship, but we haven't resolved this, because it's not a solid foundation, we're going to build a tower, because there's lots going on in the subconscious that needs to be processed. So this is why it's not happening. That job's not coming. That relationship's not coming. No one's coming to work with you. You gotta work on your own foundation here. Crow Spirit, co-create with Spirit. 17, star energy. Okay, so Aquarius energy, and I'm getting Earth, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, and Lovers with the number 6. So that's Gemini. Also Scorpio with the Crow. Lots of Scorpio energy. So what Spirit wants you to do? Work with spirits. Okay, work with spirits. Star is all about healing. Don't fight spirits in this healing journey. Don't know more than spirits. Be spirits. Sweet results await. What did I tell you? And look, number 7. 7's kept coming out for pile 1. But 7's all about faith. We have the star. Wisdom, reflection, and understanding. So our understanding comes upon reflection. Okay? Comes upon having the wisdom. The wisdom comes when we are humble enough to say, I know nothing, spirits. My understanding needs to be washed away. Okay? Because the sweeter results are there for you, but we have to be humble enough to say, I don't know. I don't know, and I want to start from healing this completely so that I can have this beautiful new beginning that Spirit is assuring, but it takes this foundation, okay? So Spirit, one more card here for beautiful pile number 2 in regards to advice, guidance. We have Fox Spirit, think on your feet, 27, or the number 9. So I feel like pile number 2, we already talked about you sort of being your worst enemy here. I feel like Spirit really wants it to be fresh thinking. Like right here in the present moment, not pulling from your bag of tricks of experiences of the past or thoughts of the past or justifications of the past, because I feel like you have ideas that you carry with you. And that's what's the heaviness. It's like you already have your preconceived understanding. It's like this requires you to think on your feet with new, fresh ideas. You know, like fresh ideas are going to zest you up a little bit more. It's like, I'm not going to just automatically fall back in the same story I always fall back on, that this is why this has happened or that's why. No, new energy here. Because I do feel there's something of like a detour, like an integration that allows you to shift energy with this fox, which is giving me coyote energy, because they're kind of coming through in the same way. It's like, they're very sneaky, but it's like there's a need to sort of play the system in some way, be sly, think on your feet, like change the energy, because you have the power here, but you're not co-creating with spirit. You're not working with the energy. You're sort of just giving and putting your hands up in the air saying, I'm stuck here. It's like, no, you're not. You have fox energy. You have the ability to think differently. And right now you have a choice to think the same or think different. It's up to you. The choice is yours. Okay, it might require you to be creative. It might require you to do something that's different, but this is how you break the neurons that are firing in your brain towards the negative polarity, to be like, yeah, here's where I normally just fall back on. It can't happen. It won't happen. Or this happened. It's like, no, get in front of that. Think differently. Think, yeah, but this might be different. Or I could choose to feel grateful. I could choose to feel love in this moment. I could choose to feel compassion, instead of seeing it as, oh, woe is me, or this happened, or this person did that, or this experience wasn't great. It's like, I could see the lesson there. I could see the benefit of that. I can see why that, even though painful then, is like, I'm grateful that I now know this, or I understand this differently, like get right in front of it and creative about how you see it. So 27 is 9, which is Hermit. So we're feeling Virgo energy, and also Moon. Moon is 9 energy as well. Okay. Cancer, Pisces. And so Spirit is saying the bulk of your reading here is all about the Hermit, which is potentially being isolated or removed in order for us to work with the divine, co-create with Spirit, for us to take a look at our subconscious, our emotions, our fears, anything that's in the unseen here that needs to be dealt with conscious eyes from a different sort of energy than that in which you're used to. Okay. That's what you're not seeing. So when you do the same, expect the same. When you interject with different energy, expect different energy. You're the alchemist here. But the ball has to start going. You have to start integrating this. Now you can do what you want, but like I said, if you want that forward movement, you got to lay the foundation here. This is what it's requiring. The Spirit wants to work with you. Okay, but Spirit's not going to do all this heavy lifting. Like, you got to be ready to surrender. You got to be ready to change the neurons. You got to be ready to accept and say, I do want these sweet results. I do want to work with the universe. I do want to move forward. Okay, then let's start to see things differently. Let's not be in denial. Let's not be in confusion. Let's not start telling ourselves things that we've always told ourselves. This is what needs to go. We're having a rebirth. I feel this is a big spiritual shift here, okay? And only until this happens can we lay the foundation to have a beautiful new beginning. But the baggage needs to fall away. We cannot start the new beginning when we're full of baggage. And why not? Because we'll reproduce the exact same thing, the same experience we already had. Spirit saying no. With the Wheel of Fortune, that cycle is not going to repeat itself. So you're going to be withdrawn, removed, isolated here until you figure this out. This is why we're not just jumping into another relationship or another thing. We don't need to relive this thing anymore, okay? It's all about you, beautiful angel. You, 1B here, okay? Only 1B for now. And the 1B has to figure it out so that the other B can come and work with that B. So, beautiful angel, this is your reading. I hope this helped you, and I will see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Hello, gorgeous angels. Pile number 3, the Sacred Web. Let me just make sure I'm recording. Yes. I always fear that it stops recording. So you guys picked the Sacred Web for your pick. And I can't wait to get into your reading. Beautiful angels, we're looking at what it is you're not seeing or understanding about your current situation, circumstance. Okay, so either you're just blind to it, or maybe you have the wrong understanding, or maybe you're just seeing it different than what's the reality. Okay, so this is pulling through to help you see another perspective of something that maybe you're not fully seeing. Okay, so if this isn't your energy, this could certainly be your situation, circumstance, someone around you, up to you to crisscross energies. If I say it's you and it's someone else, you could do that, okay? But don't take messages that aren't for you, and it should be the overall energy in this pile that matches what's going on in your world right here, right now. So, spirits, for beautiful pile number 3, what is it that they're not seeing or understanding right here, right now in regards to their situation or circumstance? Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 3 and whatever they have going on. Thank you so much, pile 3, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. I'm so blessed to be here. Spirit, please help me to channel this message in a way that pile 3 will understand what is being communicated and delivered to them in regards to what they're not seeing or understanding. Thank you so much, spirits. We are so blessed. All right, so we have 3 oracle packs that I will be using. Well, playing cards is one. Spirit, for pile number 3. What is it that they're not seeing or understanding? Clear and concise message, please, and thank you. I will leave that there. Okay, 2 more. Clear and concise message for beautiful pile number 3 regarding their situation, circumstance, and what they're not understanding or seeing right here, right now. Thank you so much, Spirit, for this message. And finally, the anagram cards, which I absolutely love, by the way. I do have a playlist, which you guys can go see the deck flip through of these cards if you're interested. Clear and concise message for beautiful pile number 3. What are they not seeing or understanding at this time? So we have the card of deprivation, psychic pain. Wow. Shortage, lack, sadness, insufficiency, and physical pain. Type 7, the enthusiast thinking center between pleasure and pain. Basic fear, ego level, number 16 or the number 7. Well, 7s keep coming through my readings lately, and I'm also seeing a lot of 7s. So could be significant for someone with 7s. Faith, wisdom, reflection, and understanding. Okay, so it's the only card that revealed itself. So to me, this is maybe talking about what is revealed to you or what is understood by you. There's a lot in the subconscious or a lot that we don't see, which is fitting for this reading. But maybe what we are experiencing is this deprivation, this shortage or this lack. Now, this isn't necessarily telling me you have a lack mindset, but maybe what we're experiencing here is some form of lack, like there's sadness here even, insufficiency. Is physical pain, like are we going through some sort of heartbreak even with this green, which is talking about the heart chakra. Okay, so 16 is tower energy. So maybe something has deconstructed or is needing to be deconstructed in some way, because towers could be painful when we're going through, revelations of truth and deconstructing certain things that we built. Okay, let's take a look. We'll start with the tarot. So we have the Scout of Fire, and I do believe Scout is the Knight, but I will just make sure before we go any further. Sorry, I generally look before we read, but yeah, so we have Student is Page, Scout is Knight, Source is the Queen, and the Seer is the King, although they're not traditional, okay? But we have the Knight of Wands, and he is in reverse. I just heard Scout's Honor. So is there like a commitment or a promise of something? Scout's Honor, okay. And we have the 5 pentacles. So there's that lack again. But this is a lack mindset. So because we could not be seeing what is positive here and seeing what isn't working with the 5 pentacles. Okay, this is feeling like we cannot or we're without, shortage, lack. And we have the 9 pentacles in reverse. We are lacking. We don't have the thing we need, or we don't have the confidence we need, or we're not in a position to be relied upon because we're insufficient in something. We don't have the money, the resources, the finances, and it's getting in the way of us moving towards something, committing to something. Okay, beautiful angels, I'm going to do the playing cards first, and then we'll start to sort of channel some of this, but it'll become clear as we lay them all out. So we have the 7 wands, something to fight for, something to believe in. I'm hearing, it's funny because I've been hearing so many songs lately, and those of you guys here know I don't channel in songs, but man, these songs have been like really running through my head lately, and I just heard Journey, Don't Stop Believing. Don't stop believing. Okay, well, what are we believing? The Jack of Diamonds. So this is the Knight of Pentacles. It could even be a Page of Pentacles, but we'll see. It's in reverse. Knight or Page of Pentacles. Okay. And we have the 5 swords. So 2 5s. 5 are conflict, a loss, which we clearly have here, talking about lack, loss. Okay, change, rebuild, conflict. 5 swords could talk about nobody winning because there's a sabotage energy where it's a win-lose sort of mentality. You know? Okie dokie. And then we have the 8 swords, which is a limited mindset that keeps us hostage because we have an understanding that isn't necessarily true, that limits us. A belief we have about ourselves or a situation or circumstance that doesn't allow us to see things clearly as they are. Okay, someone told us something we believed, or we start to tell ourselves something we believe that isn't necessarily true. And then we have the 4 pentacles. So 4 pentacles is about holding back or holding on too tight. It's a withholding energy. It's also this lack mindset because it is scarcity. If I let go, then I'm going to be without. Okay, but there's always something to be gained when we allow ourselves to trust the universe. But when we have a scarcity mindset, like things won't work out and we hang on or hang back because of that, then we start to experience that in which we don't want to experience. So, wow, there's lots coming through. I won't maybe reveal these just yet, and we'll get into that just to sort of go through and the layers here, okay? So let me sit here and then we'll channel, even though that was already a lot of information. Okay, beautiful angels. I'm not seeing what you're not seeing just yet, but I'm seeing what it is that you are experiencing. And it is already some form of a mistruth. The mistruth here is that you're not capable here. You're lacking something, you think. You might be dependent on something in your world, okay, which to you is a reality. It's like, I'm dependent on this, and therefore it limits my ability to do that. Okay, that's your truth. However, you might depend on something, but it's not really a limitation in your situation. You might think it's your limitation. And so there's a few things coming through here. It's like, one, maybe you're dependent on something that you don't need to be, that you think you have to be, and that you're hanging on to. That's one thing. Okay, and the minute you realize you don't have to depend or hang on to that thing and you let it sort of go, then you open up the door to new possibilities, but this is sort of limiting you. Okay, it's like you think you need to hang on to that thing for your own maybe independence, but meanwhile you're really dependent on it. So it's creating the opposite effect, because I feel like whatever thing that you're thinking is ruling your world or creating some form of independence for you, or that you need to hang on to, I feel is not true, for one. Okay, but also I feel like there is a mindset here of not having something, or not being confident enough to pull something off here, and so we're held back, because I feel like there's something to fight for, there's something to commit to, there's something you're fired up about, there's potential here that's not developed or followed up on. And I don't know, something coming through here, maybe you feel like you're not in a position to do this, like you can't commit to it, you're not reliable, or you're not in a position that will be successful or can fight for something here. Okay, but I do feel like the thing you're not seeing, which we're still peeling back here, is the fact of that is the belief that you have that's creating the lack. That mindset, or that story, or that position that you're coming from. You're coming from a fighting position or a defensive position that is already untrue. It's like, I don't have, I'm without, and there is this like conflict that you're creating in your world with people around you, because I am seeing two sets of hands here with the Scout's Honor. Okay, and so we do Scout's Honor, and then someone Scout's Honor back at us. So maybe it's like I need buy-in from another, but it's like blocked here. It's like we can't work with another because our own energy is challenging. And I could see why our energy is challenging, because we're unavailable here. We're too clinging to something. And our mindset is, I have to cling to this. I can't let go of that. I'm not in a position to do this. I can't become available. I can't promise this thing, And it's like we're fighting against everything, sort of. And I don't know, like, what hill are we fighting from? Are we fighting for the right thing, or are we fighting to defend our position of scarcity and lack? We could be fighting for a win, but what exactly is the win that we're seeing here? We might be justifying, like, that's the fight we have in us, is justifying why we cannot, or why it's not happening for us. But then what? That's what we end up experiencing, is like, we fought so hard just to prove we could not. Like, is that what we really want to fight for? Or do we want to fight for the commitment? Do we want to fight for the fire? Do we want to fight for the opportunity? Because that would require a shift of mindset and a letting go, or not being so withheld here. But that might require us coming out of our comfort zone. So it's like, here I know what I depend on, or here I know my security, or here I know my energy. And so we have an understanding of our energy, that I'm incapable, or I'm this way, but that's not necessarily true. That's a story you tell yourself, that you're unavailable, or that you're unreliable, or you're some deficiency here. And then we experience that, in which that energy tells us lack. But we're out in the cold. People argue with us. We feel left out. We feel like we cannot. And so you're creating this reality, Spirit is saying. And so what's going on under that? Okay, insufficiency. This is all talking about insufficiency. I need more. Ordinariness. I'm not reading reversals in these. Avoidance. 22. So 22 is the number 4. 4 is Emperor energy. Emperor is the opposite of this, because the Emperor has power. He's in control. He goes after it. Okay, because he's confident. So I feel there's a lack of confidence here. Okay, but 4 is about structure and foundations, it's stability, it's planning. So we have to commit to create groundwork. Okay, but 22 is a master number. This is peacemaker, diplomacy. This is about divinely guided relationships. So commitment to a relationship, commitment to how we relate to someone or something. We could be avoiding. So this is ordinariness, conformism, platitude, routine, dullness, monotony, and mediocrity. Type 4, the individualist, emotional center between lack and abundance. So 4 talks about our comfort zone. This would be routine. This would be what? Mediocrity. 4s. So like I say about 4s are okay because stability is okay, but stability becomes sort of stagnant. And in order to move out of 4s, we get into 5s, and we might not want to experience a 5 and rock the boat. So we hang back. Meanwhile, in order for us to get anywhere, we have to sort of go through a 5 to move forward. Okay, but we don't want the discomfort. We don't want the challenge. We don't want to confront anything. Stinginess, stingy with his time, refusal to share, tight-fisted, inaction, inavailability, retention of knowledge. Type 5, the observer, thinking center, number 50 or the number 5, again coming through, 2 5s, 3 5s. Okay, 55 is a master number, and that means change is the only constant, divinely orchestrated change. So we can't keep things the same no matter how much we want them to be the same. Change is the only constant initiated by the divine. Okay, and so we have inaction and availability, retention to knowledge. Type 5, retention to knowledge. The thing that I understand. I'm going to hang on to the thing that I understand. That's what we're hanging on to. We hang on to the belief that we don't have, or we're not confident, or we're incapable. And it creates this havoc in our world instead of moving forward. And so we're withholding and we're avoiding. Now, like I said, if this isn't you, then it's somebody in your energy giving you a perspective as to why this is not moving forward. And this person could certainly be defending that position. And there's something greater to fight for here. Okay, and so we have silver, 25, or the number 7. So now we have 2 7s coming through. And what is this? I rarely ever read the book for this because what I always get from this one, okay, is like it's not gold, it's second class. Again, not good enough, lacking the confidence. I'm sort of second fiddle. I'm not in a position to have the gold, and so therefore I'm settling, I'm withholding, I'm second best, I'm not good enough. There goes my email confirming. Should we read this one, spirits? I am being called to read it just to see what we have, but I do feel your messages. If you guys hear things falling, it's because I just shifted. Look at it. I opened it to gold, which definitely confirms what I was saying. And I was hearing my email going off right when I was explaining this. Okay, maybe let's read the gold because I feel like this is what you are. But we're too much in the silver. So look at this. Illumination, splendor, culmination. The alchemist's gold is no ordinary gold. It is not found in rings or coins or necklaces. Okay, so maybe you think you need the thing in the physical world to be the thing. Okay, it's not in the material world. It is a substance buried deep within, sometimes referred to as gold of the wise, philosophic gold, the ethereal stone, or the divine quintessence, among countless other names. For our purpose, we seek not the physical metal, but the mystical essence within each alchemist. How do we recognize it? It mimics qualities of the metal itself, soft and radiant, and its planetary counterpart, the sun, warm and bright. It's no wonder gold is associated with the heart. The green here, okay? When this card arrives, there is something of incredible value at hand. It is marvelous and rare. Cherish it. Get to know its properties and its source. The gold card carries a distinct shadow. If mistaken for a purely physical material, it can lead to greed and excess, causing the alchemists to lose their way. Reverence is key. Go deeper. Read Robert Frost's poem, Nothing Gold Can Stay. To ponder. Every path has a noble path. So, what is silver? Lunar, reflective and chrome. Amidst its upper echelon status, silver shines eternally in second position. It is the lesser sibling, the one that's not quite there yet. A true alchemist does not resist the truth, but rather studies its subtle implications and its wisdom. Silver requires polishing or the surface tarnishes over time. Mirrors require cleaning or the image clouds and distorts, whereas gold sustains its own malleable radiance. Silver asks for our participation. We must work at it. Don't give up now. Silver wants to build relationships like the moon, a mirror, or a poem. Let it reflect an image back with an open heart and one more moment of willingness, and seemingly cold, stark surface of silver opens into the imaginal realm. What is there? Your own vastness, the mysteries that beckon you on moonlit nights. Through our daily devotion to silver, we find the truest gold. Go deeper. Find a piece of silver and polish it by hand. To ponder, polishing as a practice. So, some involvement is required here. Lightning, number 13, Scorpio energy 13 is about the transformation. It's the death process, okay? But here we see the snake, which is about healing, shedding the old version, so we could become reborn here. Okay, lightning is also giving me tower energy, which is the deconstruction here that's required. Maybe a sudden realization of sorts too. And here we have tin, number 21, or the number 3. So tin is malleable. And the light attribute is flexible. It's able to adapt. It's not rigid or clinging or stuck. Okay, but in the shadow attribute, it might be flimsy. It might break easily. It's delicate, you know. You bend it too many times and it might collapse. It doesn't sustain a lot of weight. So, oh my goodness, there's so much energy coming through here. How long do we have? Oh, beautiful angels. I do feel this could certainly be a challenging energy for you, okay? Whether you're in this energy or dealing with someone in this energy. And I sure hope I'm talking to the person that's in this energy, or else I'm giving advice maybe to, I don't know who, but I'm going to assume this is your energy for purposes of this. So we have to take a proactive, we can do whatever we want. You don't have to do anything, okay? But if you're in this energy, there's suffering here. There's lack mindset, and there's only experiencing out in the cold and challenge with other people and manifesting more of that. Okay? And we don't want that. Independency and lack mindsets and an inability to get where you want. And I think what you want it. There's fire here. There's an opportunity that's viable. You're saying it's viable. You're showing it as fire. You're showing it as something you want, and maybe potentially something you even want to fight for. But you're fighting for the wrong camp. And how I'm saying this is because your energy is supporting your position, your mindset. It's really supporting why I can't let go, why it is that I'm unsustainable, why it is that I have to be in this energy. And you don't. You really don't. And so there's a need for a rebirth here and the shedding of the old, which is going to take some polishing, meaning your active engagement in the effort you put towards yourself. Now, you are gold energy, but you're never going to see the gold when we're covered under all of this sort of patina of rust or patina of, I don't know, whatever. And I feel like this is experience that's caked on here. Okay, and we might think, oh, it's too much effort, it's too much energy. So what Spirit is saying is think about it this way. The purest essence, the gold, is already there. Okay, you're already gold. There is no attaining gold. There is no having to find the gold. There is no journey of seeking where that is. Spirit is saying underneath all of this is the gold. Okay, but the only thing it would require you to do is to be flexible, is not to cling and hang on to the understanding that you have here, because you have a clear understanding that you're either not good enough, not confident enough, can't commit, or are missing something or lacking something, and that's untrue. This is what needs to be released. So just focus on releasing that understanding, and you will experience more pleasurable outcomes. And this opportunity will get to be explored. Then you're fighting for the right camp, and you're in a higher ground here to win. Because 7 of Wands is all about us standing on a higher ground to face the adversities that are coming at us. We could have multiple reasons or beliefs or aspects that are like this and this and this are all not right? But Spirit is saying you're above all of those things already. And so I feel like there's a rebirth here that you're not seeing, and what you're not understanding is how active you can get in shedding those beliefs and that version of you that clings to that story. Okay, and I feel like we might really be clinging to that understanding. And what it does is when we cling with two hands, our hands are sort of tied and we can't give to other situations. And so it makes us inactive, it makes us stagnant. And so we might really honor stability. But if we're stable to stagnancy, if we're too stuck hanging on, then we can't commit to anything new. And Spirit is showing in front of you. And maybe this is the part you don't see too, because I don't know where you guys fall. And this is a general reading. Maybe we don't see the opportunity in front of us as a viable opportunity. We're 8 swords. It's like we don't see it, or we just write it off as something that we can't move towards. But it's something that fires us up. The Knight of Fire is capable of taking action confidently towards something and not thinking twice about it. And I feel like there's an opportunity to explore like this, that we're just shutting down automatically. Okay, we're avoiding it. And we're sticking to the routine of the thing that we know. But the thing that we know is a mindset that is actually not good. Okay, so flexibility is required. And I do feel like maybe we truly believe that we're insufficient in some way to accomplish something, but that's just a lack mindset belief here that isn't true. And we're really hanging on to that belief for some reason. With 2 hands, like I said, and so we can't give to any new situation. We can't even polish ourselves when our hands are stuck. So we have to polish ourselves, and that just means get rid of those thoughts, get rid of those lack mindsets, get rid of the shadowy part here, because the gold is in there and it wants to shine bright and be born, but we got to get rid of the stuff there that's old and not serving a purpose here. So we might fear that we'd collapse or we're not strong enough. And so even if we are silver, we're strong enough to sustain. And we might be seeing ourselves as tin, you know? And tin is not silver. And yeah, look at the rainbows. So rainbows talk about a need to see things from different perspectives. So we might have one fixed perspective and it's not true. And so we're losing hope on something. And Spirit's saying, no, don't lose hope that you are not gold. There's a need for you to have trust, faith, you know? But don't stick to the seeing yourself as tin that doesn't even exist. It's like you're this solid metal and you're underneath all of this understanding. And I think you're being born from this silver to this gold energy with this egg that's about to hatch. But only when we shed that belief that we're second class or that we need to settle or that we're lacking something. And it's like, at least I know in this world, this ordinary world, that I can conform or that it's going to produce what it always produced. But it's like, but it's not expanding and pushing you out. It's just avoiding an experience here of something more that you're worthy of experiencing. And so this does take the transformation. I do feel I need to read some tarot for you guys because I do feel like there's more. Like we will pull your advice, okay? But I do want to. Should we leave these here, spirits? Yeah, let's leave those there. Sorry. Let's just pull tarot here, okay? And then we'll pull some guidance. So, spirit, what is pile number 3 needing to know about this? Pile 3. What do they need to know? Clearly, there's some belief they have that they need to start, you know, really questioning here because it's just a mindset that imprisons them. But what do they need to know about this? What's actually going to help them see the light here? What it is they're not understanding. I feel I'm missing something. Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good. Is this a beaver? No, it's a seal. Let's see. No. What is that thing again? Muskrat? I don't know why it's important. I feel like it's a muskrat or something. Okay, let's see. Spirit, what does pile number 3 need to know? Clear and concise message. What they're not seeing. What do they need to know? So we have number 19. That's sun energy. So sun is clarity. It's divine masculine energy. We have 5 in reverse. No, but this is what? 5 swords. Yeah, 5 swords. Wow, 5, 5, 5, you guys. So 5 swords in the upright, 5 swords in the reverse. Leo. Birdie with its nest. And what does pile number 3 need to know? I was seeing Hierophant energy, which is giving me this understanding, this higher level of commitment as well, coming through, Taurus energy. And we have the 4 swords in reverse. And then we have the Scout of Air, which is the Knight of Swords. And the Seer of Air, which is the King of Swords. Okay, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. What's under that? Temperance. Sagittarius energy. Okay, beautiful people with the Temperance and the 4 swords right here. This is about healing. This is all about the polishing of the silver. We're out of balance right now, and it's due to our lack of not seeing. Okay, we have the Seer of Air. This is all about air is our mental thought, okay, our understanding of certain things. But the Seer can see clearly. Okay, and so I feel there's a need to confront with the Knight of Swords, to confront, to challenge yourself, even if it seems like it might be uncomfortable. We have to challenge ourselves or else we get what we get. Okay, and I feel like with the hand talking about feeling empowered to do so, having the power to do this, I'm getting Sun, which is divine masculine, which is giving me Aries, which is, again, the Mars energy to do. I am. We have to do something so that we believe that we are. And it's going to take our masculine energy so that we can see clearly. And what are we trying to see? We're trying to see and understand the truth of a situation in which we're not seeing very clearly. And it creates challenge with us and people around us. It creates sabotage. It creates a win-lose. It creates complex here. And so we're needing to rebuild ourselves. And how we can rebuild ourselves is only once we start to see the light. And when we see the light, we can clearly take action. And we could confront and we can deal with things. And then we understand and see truths. Then we have more balance. Then we heal the thing. Okay, because I feel like we're needing to nurture this thing, your understanding of self. It needs nurturing. We need to see how to nurture this. And over time, these birdies, these chicks are going to grow into, capable birds. But it takes some time. And this mom can't just throw them off the nest and say, okay, go fly, and maybe we're like, not sure how long it will take, or we're not clear about what we need to do. And Spirit is saying, all you need to do is allow yourself time to heal. Allow yourself to confront what you need to confront, but be honest with it. Feel empowered. I feel like, I don't know, there's something about time showing here. This is reminding me of Sands of the Hourglass. And so is something taking very long time, or maybe we're taking too much time to act. And it's like the sooner we act, the sooner we can get to the truth, the sooner we can heal, the sooner these birds can grow and develop and fly the coop. If they're fly the coop too soon, they're fragile and they might fall in the nest and die, right? So maybe we feel we're fragile here. Okay, because I do feel like there's a misunderstanding that you have that you're not seeing, and maybe you think you're more fragile than you are. And it's like, if you believe that you are fragile, you will be fragile. And so until we see the truth, until we understand this truth, then maybe, start to deal with yourself in a way that's saying, okay, I believe I'm fragile, or I believe I'm incapable, or I will bend and break or fall off this tree and die. Confront and challenge that until you see a greater truth. That's how you're going to nurture this thing and polish this thing, because the more you do this, the more you're going to see that is actually an untruth. That's what's creating the sabotage. That's what's creating the challenge. Again, I'm getting divine masculine energy with this buck and the antlers. There's a need for you to lean into your masculine energy, to take charge, to be confident about your findings here, what you will see. It's like, I don't want to see, I don't want to look in there, I don't want to do that. I'd rather just cling, I'd rather just stick to the safe zone. No, why? Because we think if we look, we're going to break right away, maybe, and it's like, no, you won't break. What you're going to see is an empowerment here in order to see clearly and deal and understand yourself from a more knowledgeable perspective here with this Knight of Swords. He understands things rationally. He can actually see things rationally. And I feel like there's an irrational understanding that you have right now that's limiting you, that you keep clinging on to, and it's making you stingy and limiting your movement and not allowing you to work with others in a way that flows. And so you're without, and it's like lack, and it's sadness, and it's a shortage in your world. And it's like, no, the divine wants to give you sunlight, wants to give you joy, wants to give you happiness, wants to give you positive experience. This is the opportunity. It's on your table. It's something that will fire you up. I mean, it gets you to move, gets you to see and enjoy the warmth. That's opposite energy, completely opposite. Warmth, out in the cold, lacking, stingy, inaction, unable to move. Okay, we have to sort of polish this thing and look at like this egg is about to hatch. And so I think you're being asked to nurture these little birdies that want to fly the coop here by shedding the thoughts. Okay, so I still feel like there's so much more that we can peel this back, but I mean, how much time do we have? Let's take a look at your guidance. Maybe this will answer some questions here. Spirit, guidance, advice for pile number 3 regarding this energy. We're tapped into here. What do they need to know about guidance and advice for them to cope with this thing? Okie dokie. Hummingbird, be here now. So do we have the past haunting us? I think we have the familiar, but the familiar was built over time. And so it's not in the present moment. And so if there's an opportunity in the present moment to pursue or acknowledge or commit to or engage with, we sort of stick to the past or we hold back. Okay, but we're being asked to be here now, because that's when the hummingbird sort of takes this nectar of life, this sunlight energy, the purpose in life. We have to enjoy it in the here and now. So 34, or the number 7, which keeps coming through my readings. Elephant spirits learn from the past. Another 7. Wow, 7's everywhere. So 7, 7, 7. Okay. 77, trust the fall, an adventure that arises from deep wisdom, trust of life, trust of self. We had an experience in the past that's created this lack mindset, lack of confidence. Okay. It's a past experience, and it was there to teach us something about ourselves. It wasn't there to dictate who we are. Who we are is in the present moment. We've never been who we are right here, right now. It's a whole new energy you are. Okay. In fact, how many months does it take for our cells to completely regenerate? Like, you're a complete different person. The only thing that ties you to the past is your own belief and stories of the past. So I feel like you have an understanding of yourself that you've already carried and made up, that you are this, that, and that because of what you experienced. And therefore, this is exactly what you keep experiencing. No, you're not that. You're this present moment, ready to enjoy this beautiful nectar of life, because I feel like there is so much joy here for you. Okay? Know when you're sort of lost in the story of the past. Know when you're clinging to what's familiar. Person, place, thing of the past that makes me feel familiar here. But is it giving you sun? Is it giving you zest? Is it giving you fire? Is it something new you can chase up on and fill this like purpose of life? Or is it really weighing you down and feeling very sort of draining, stingy? Okay. Armadillo spirit, set healthy boundaries. So boundaries go both ways. Boundaries definitely go both ways. We could be too tight on a boundary where we need to be flexible, loosen up on our boundary, experience things, step outside of our comfort zone. I think we're too stingy and we're too much creating a wall around us or a boundary around us rather than allowing things to be experienced. So 3 talks about growth, initial success, and relationships. Okay. 3 is also Empress energy, which is divine feminine. It's all about unconditional love and abundance and birthing something here. So I feel like we can birth abundance, or we could stay in stagnancy and not experience the abundance, but the choice is ours. Okay. Flamingo spirit, embrace the in-between. So again, there might be a period where we need to nurture the birdies, or this egg is hatching, or shed the skin, or polish the silver. Okay, but that's the transition from the old version to the new version. So we need patience to transition. 26, or the number 8. 8 is about movement. It's about change. Okay, so we're being called to move. We're being called to allow this changing transformation happen. Coyote spirits, trust in divine detours. Number 16, or the number 7 again. So we might have expected our world to go a certain way, or we might be expecting it to go in a certain way based on our understanding and our experience. And Spirit is saying, sometimes Spirit takes us down a whole different path that makes us feel uncomfortable, that we're not understanding just yet. And it's all for a very good divine reason. But we got to trust that maybe we were trying to go in one path, and Spirit's like, no longer cling to that person, place, thing of the past. Time to go in a different direction, because we're going to get you somewhere, And I do feel it requires tower energy. And that, to me, could be something that you feel scary, because it deconstructs that in which we built, that in which makes us feel safe. But it's not sustainable. It's built on shaky ground. It can no longer stay there. It needs to deconstruct in order for there to be a rebirth. So trust in the divine guidance here. Okay, but I do feel there's a tower here. And towers, like I say, could definitely be something we're not used to or want to experience, because it's sudden, or it's unfamiliar, and it's just chaotic, and it's all upside down, and I don't have the stability, and it's like I'm not familiar, and I might, break. But it's like, no, it's just leveling out this ground so that something beautiful could be built here. So you got to work with Spirit, not cling to the tower, but help Spirit sort of deconstruct this thing. Because the only thing that leaves is the thing that is not healthy. It's the tarnish of the silver. It's the mindsets that are not true. That's the thing that's being deconstructed here. Okay, so chameleon spirits, act as if. Number 14, which is temperance energy. Then we had temperance under here in the reverse. So a need for balance and a need to be in the right energy to create something. So if we're not in the right energy, then we can't work with anyone to create something of substance here. So Spirit is working with you to be in the right energy, but it requires a deconstruction. Okay, but this act as if is like, I don't believe that I'm capable or confident. And it's like, that's just a belief, but it's not a truth. The Spirit knows of the truth. And so this might be where we're sort of feeling weak. And it's like, know that it's just a belief. And know that beliefs aren't necessarily true. And once you keep kicking it back to that, say, yes, I might have this belief, but it's not necessarily true. The truth is something other than that. I'm going to act as if I do have the confidence. I'm going to act as if the truth is the truth, because it really is the truth with a capital T, not my reality. How vain must I be if I think my truth is the real truth that exists? And I don't think you're vain here. So why would your truth trump the Spirit's truth? So we got to act as if we're already in that role, that we already have this sort of confidence about us. But I feel like before we even get here, we might need to nurture something so we could see through that belief and transition out of old mindsets. And then we might be out of our comfort zone, but it's like, when in Rome, do like the Romans, like be a part of that. And there will be a shift here, because you do belong to whatever it is here. You can create. That's the balance. That's the harmony. That's the adaptability and the flexibility here. And I'm feeling like all of this beautiful, colorful energy from the chameleon, from this rainbow. And so, but it's going to require different mindsets and you seeing things from so many different angles that this, that, and all those other things can all be true at once. Which do you want to feed and believe? Which do you want to fight for? Which perspective do you want to fight for? The perspective that limits you and handicaps you and keeps you stuck and stagnant and out in the cold and challenged? Or do you want to believe in the perspective that allows you to be flexible and adaptable and go through winning and enjoying something here, you know? But you have to be ready to engage with it in the here and now. Don't let it pass you by. Pile number 3. So this is your reading, pile 3. I hope this helped you guys. I love you guys very, very much. And I will see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Hello, hello, gorgeous angels. Pile number 4. You guys picked the Crystal Tarot. Beautiful. Can't wait to get into your reading. What are we looking at? We're looking at, I just want to make sure that I didn't leave any cards in here. Okay. We're looking at pile number 4 and what it is that you might not be seeing about your current situation, circumstance, or yourself. Okay, you might have one understanding that might not necessarily be the truth, or one perspective you're taking that might be limiting you. But whatever it is something you're not seeing or understanding about your current situation or state in which Spirit wants to reveal to you. Okay, now if this isn't your energy, this could be your situation energetically. This could be someone you're dealing with. Okay, so you attribute this to whoever, however you want. Okay, but if it's not resonating, then most likely not your pile. All right, so we'll ask Spirit for a clear and concise message for beautiful pile number 4 in regards to what they're not seeing right here, right now about their current situation, circumstance that they're needing to know. Thank you so much, Spirit. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 4. Thank you so much, pile 4, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. I'm so blessed to be here. I feel like shaking the energy off these cards. All right, so clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 4. Please help me to channel this in a way that pile 4 will understand. Thank you so much, spirits. What is it that pile 4 is not seeing or understanding at this time? So we'll pull some playing cards and then from the Oracle, and we'll finish off with some advice. What is it that pile 4 is not seeing or understanding at this time? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 4. Thank you, Spirit. What is going on with pile 4 that they're needing to see or understand? And one more. Okay, and then finally, these alchemy cards. Pile number 4, Spirit. Energetically, what is it that they are not seeing? At this time. Okie dokie. Gorgeous. Let's get into it, shall we? So we have 7 cups in reverse, and we have 5 pentacles. Okay, and we have 7 spades, which is 7 swords in reverse. So 2 7s. And you guys won't believe it. Every single pile had an abundance of 7s. And I've been seeing 7s everywhere. 7, 7, 7. So we have 7, 7. So 7 is about faith, wisdom, reflection, understanding. Okay, 77 is a master number. Trust the fall, an adventure that arises from deep wisdom, trust of life, and trust of self. So what do we have here? 4 swords. Okay, I will flip these playing cards and then we'll channel a bit before we start to get too into it. 9 cups, Nine of Hearts. Now, this could either be upright or reverse, either way with these cards. 9 Cups, okay? And then we have 3 Swords, or the 3 Spades, and we have the King of Cups in the reverse. So we have Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, and we have the Queen of Swords in the reverse. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Okay, before we get into this, which might become more clear, let's tap into this. I do feel 2 energies here, but let me just see first of all. Okay, beautiful angel. I do feel your energy predominantly here, but you could crisscross or whatever. I feel like this might be about a relationship, okay? But you apply it how you see fit. I feel like you've experienced some heartbreak, or maybe you're separated from someone you love. You know, this could certainly be your husband or your lover or someone that you feel emotionally tied to in some way here with this King of Cups, or someone who loves you. Okay, but I feel like potentially this person is emotionally not available there for you. Like there's a separation, or there's a heartbreak, or there's like an experience here that we don't like. Okay, 3 Swords talks about someone's words, actions, or intentions, or lack thereof, has created pain and suffering. Okay, so we experience some sort of suffering due to some words or some actions here. And I feel like there's some, with the 7 Swords, because this talks about deception, right? But deception can be on a sliding scale. It's like through omitting truths, through not providing clarity, through, lies even. But it's like something about needing to see and understand some truth, or we finally see and understand some truth that's created suffering here in regards to experiencing maybe somebody being emotionally unavailable to us, whether it's by their own action, or just, I don't know, if somebody had to move away, due to outside circumstances. But for whatever reason, I feel like your energy here is one of needing to heal and see and understand something. Okay, so I'm kind of getting a mixed energy here, and we can have 2 sort of opposing truths at the same time. There's something coming to light that might be very painful and a truth of understanding. But at the same time, there's something we're not seeing and something we don't understand, or some form of clarity that we need. It's like I want to understand something, or I want to, like heal something so I could see something, or heal this heartbreak so that I can, I don't know, like have the wisdom of this experience and move on, or see clearly. And maybe we're still not fully healed, or seeing something and processing some form of truth. Now, it's funny how I started completely backwards there, but this energy is sort of talking about maybe like the past, or the foundation of what it has been that we've experienced here. I feel like emotionally there's dissatisfaction. Okay, I am getting a reverse 9 Cups for you. It's like I don't feel emotionally fulfilled, and I feel like I'm not getting what I want emotionally here. And some of you guys might have experienced someone who was emotionally unavailable because they might have been a little selfish, or a little preoccupied in what brings them immediate sort of emotional happiness. That's created some form of confusion, or that didn't give you any clarity, and they might have not have chosen this connection or prioritized this connection. And so it's like, it's very apparent to me that this person wants to choose another cup, or wants to choose whatever they want to choose that is not emotionally making you happy, and it's not giving you any clarity, and it's sort of keeping you out in the cold, or keeping you, emotionally dissatisfied. And so we know that however anyone engages with us, it has no bearing on us as a person. Okay, but it doesn't mean that we don't experience pain and suffering. Okay, and so I feel like we're coming to understand and process some experience where maybe we felt like helpless, hopeless. It's like I feel left out in the cold. I feel confused. I feel emotionally dissatisfied. I feel like I have no control here. And it's like, Something's been revealed to us. Could be this person has communicated something, or we understood some form of truth now, but it's like embracing this truth now created this separation or this loss or this pain that now I have to process. But I still don't see or understand something here. What was it all for? Or what am I supposed to understand about it? Or what is it that I'm not seeing, you know? So 4 swords is reflection and healing, and these 4 swords are pointing to a center point. What is this? One thing, you know, one main truth, or there's something here. I don't know what it is, but we'll tap into seeing what this is. It might become clear as we start to peel this all away. Okay, but I feel like with the 7 cups and these 3 swords, and emotionally unavailable, and a 9 cups, it could have been somebody made a decision to see what was on the other side of this cup. That wasn't this connection that resulted in you seeing some form of truth, that this person, maybe seeing them in their true light, you know? That's like they emotionally chose something that made them happy in the moment. For some of you guys, it could have been another person, you know, but it doesn't have to necessarily be this. But it's an experience of that which led to some painful thing of you understanding. So let's take a look. So we have feeling unloved, 11. Oh my goodness. Number 2, feeling unessential, feeling rejected, separation, feeling like we never got chosen, indifference, feeling isolated, feeling abandoned. Type 2, the helper emotional center between giving and receiving, basic fear, ego level. So 11 is a spiritual number. This is all about, you know, like having the encouragement to keep going. We might be seeing a lot of signs, symbols, synchronicities here with 11, something very spiritual. But we feel rejected. And remember, when we feel rejected, when we feel unloved, when we feel less than, it's a lack, and it stems from a belief that isn't true. And I think maybe this is what we're sort of working through. You know, it doesn't mean we don't feel these feelings, but why do we feel these feelings? Because remember, the 5 pentacles, the key is in our hands to come out of a 5 pentacle. We could sit out in the cold, looking at what we don't have, feeling unloved. And it's like, this will forever feel true as long as we sit here outside of the church. Okay, with the Rider-Waite Tarot, the traditional tarot, it shows the church window and the church door, and the homeless people can go inside the church and seek refuge, but they sit out there in the cold. And so I feel like there's a truth here that we aren't seeing, and that's what this reading's about. What aren't we seeing? So I think we're seeing something now and understanding something, but it's still a belief, and Spirit wants you to see some core truth here. All signs point to one core truth, and I feel like this is the center, the essence, the core of who you are that maybe you're not seeing or understanding here. Okay, because we're feeling rejected and unloved here, emotionally dissatisfied, and a lot of pain, you know, feeling very abandoned by what has happened. Okay, so, and we have here vanity, fixation 39, or the number 3. Arrogance, vainglory, pride, disdain, sufficiency, and high self-esteem. Type 3, the achiever, emotional center between appearance and authenticity. Okay, I'm getting mixed energy here, but I'm going to channel that shortly. And then we have integration 90, or the number 9 and 3, peacemaker. I'm getting Libra energy here, getting Leo energy here. So wish for recognition, reconciliation, mediator, agreement, listening to yourself, awareness of your value. Type 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting one's self. Okay, I'm getting 6 wands as well here. Yeah, 6 wands heavily, so ego's pulling through. And then we have failure with 21, another 3, which we were getting from here, 3, 3, 3. So 3's about growth. Okay, we have growth level here. It's all about relationships. It's the initial success. It's also Empress energy. Empress is Taurus Libra. So that's about abundance, divine feminine, giving and receiving unconditional love. fertility. Okay, so it's the opposite of this lack. Abundance is more than enough. It's not the scarcity. So we have failure, self-doubting people, deficiency, losing, defeat, bankruptcy, and lagging people. Type 3, the achiever. Emotional center between appearance and authenticity. I'm getting a lot of 6 wands. And a lot of this yellow is giving me solar plexus. And solar plexus is ego. Okay, because if we have too much energy or blocks or unhealthy balance in the solar plexus, one area, it creates this energy that I'm feeling here, which I will channel shortly. But let's reveal all these first. So we have the Great Serpent, number 45. So that could be an age or significant number here. So that's number 9. 9 is Hermit. Okay, so Virgo, it's also Moon. I'm feeling mostly Moon here. Pisces and Cancer. The Great Serpent, this is the Ouroboros. It's like, the great cycle of life. Okay, and we have Synchronicity, 63, or the number 9 again. And look at this sort of snake eating its tail in a way as well. Eating its tail. Okay, so snake's about healing, which we have 4 swords. Shedding the old. Synchronicities. Okay, and then we have the Sun Splendor. This came out for pile 1. If you guys were interested, I think it was 153 or the number 8. So this is like a 10 cups. Okay, this is like emotional fulfillment at its finest here. All good things, love, connecting, and building a beautiful, fantastic future. Okay, so let me tap into this energy here, beautiful people. Okay, what aren't we seeing? We're being called to pull ourselves inwards, okay? We're experiencing with other people, situations, and the matrix experiences, okay? That's all happening as a manifestation out in the world, but energetically, there's a lot going on. And so we need to bring it back to ourselves, because whatever we experienced here was a trigger catalyst for us to go within and resolve. I feel there's a block here in the solar plexus, or there's an unhealthy balance in the solar plexus, or an unhealthy understanding that we have right now that's creating a lack mindset. And all it does is make us experience like a emotional dissatisfaction, and it makes us experience loss and lack and separation. Okay, that's all it does, this belief. And so we need to resolve this belief in the solar plexus. What is this belief? We have an unhealthy understanding of ourself. It's like a win-lose sort of energy. It's an ego here, okay? And this ego is one that we attach to. It's a story of who we are and what we deserve and what we think is supposed to happen for us. No matter how valiant, no matter how accurate we think it is, a relationship should be give and take, and I should give and receive. It should be loving and all of those things. It's like an idea understanding you have that's not necessarily true. It's not saying that relationships aren't about giving and receiving. No, it's saying your understanding is what's creating this block right now. You're being called to dismantle this. Okay, there's an ego that is in your energy field that's actually not you. That needs to be deconstructed here. And the only way to deconstruct it is to bring it back to self, so we could see ourselves from the eyes of really calling out this ego belief. Okay, we have a pride. I'm feeling a strong Queen of Wands energy from you. Getting what you want, being very successful, very beautiful, very powerful, very much in charge. But what does in charge mean? What does beautiful mean? What is this belief you hold? It's not true. And I'm not saying you're ugly, and I'm not saying that you're not capable, but all of that is an illusion. It's a story. It's an ego. It's an identity you attach to, a belief of yourself. It doesn't exist. Okay, everyone is tied back to one source of origin, which is the creator, consciousness itself. And it's expressed through all of these different individuals. And us as individuals have our own veil, our own beliefs, our own stories, our own experiences. And so we're contorting the eyes of the divine, the eyes of the creator, with our own experiences. And we think it's right because it's been our experience. I've lived this, therefore I understand this, therefore it's true. No, you live that, you see that, therefore it's one perspective of many. And right now your perspective is really strong in an egoic belief. And so therefore, this is why we experience lack and loss. Okay, but above that whole thing, we still believe us to be separate. I am me with my achievements, my successes, and my victories, and what I'm worthy of. And the universe can either bless me and give to me these things that are separate from me, or else I'm lacking and I don't have it. It's like, no, you already have those things in which you think you're lacking. It's not an external validation or seeking. So I feel like this whole connection, this person choosing whatever this was, wasn't because you suck or weren't good enough or you need to produce more or you were unsuccessful. This was to show you a mirror of your own vanity. This was to show you a mirror of your own pride, so that you can really look at yourself and say, I am as whole and complete as everyone else. And I am connected to this person, place, thing that didn't work out, but I'm not seeing it right now because I'm getting in my own way with the eyes of the veil of distortions. And so I'm seeing things as winning and losing. I'm seeing duality here. I'm seeing failure. I'm seeing someone out there that I can't have and me in here. And no, you and this person are one and the same. There is no winning and losing and failure. There's just one source, the creator. And either you're going to distort the energy or you're going to see it as the creator's intended. One point, one origin point here. Okay, and the more, why I'm saying this is because the more we believe that belief that we're separate and there's a loss and there's sadness here and failure, the more we suffer. And this needs to be undone. Now, you don't need to do anything, but the reason I say needs to be undone is because we'll suffer. Okay, and there is, Spirit is talking about here, okay, but I don't want to give you guys this false sort of hope to hang on to the exterior world of manifestation. Okay, but there is what Spirit is saying, with this peacemaker and this reconciliation, a point to come together here with whatever you want. If it's this person, it's this person. If it's a deeper love or an emotional wish you have here to bring fulfillment, you can come together with that. But only when you resolve this thing, because you're needing to shed whatever this is. And we might have to do a few cycles here of shedding of this belief, shedding of the vanity, of the ego, of the false self, of the story we tell ourselves. Okay, I feel like we keep telling ourselves the same story without questioning it because it's our belief and it's what we've lived. And Spirit is saying, no, let's be reborn here as someone who does not carry this understanding and this ego, seeing ourselves through these eyes, because that isn't who you are. You might really attach to it because it served you good. It makes you appear to yourself as someone who is capable, doable, beautiful, independent, all these things. But it's only your perspective of that. There's always someone more beautiful, more wise, more independent, more business savvy, more, and we never reach it. It's a forever race on this egoic wheel. And so this understanding was to dissolve an egoic belief. That's what these relationships and mirrors are all about. There's a mirror here showing back to you. And this mirror is wanting you to see yourself as you are, a divine essence, light. This is the clarity that you need. This is the wisdom, the experience that you're being shown. But whether you take that knowledge and learn as experience, or you don't want to see it because you want to believe yourself and cling on to this belief, the mask, the protection. Okay, so we're listening to the ego, we're listening to that story of who we think we are, and we want success in only the way we see it. Success means this person would choose me. Success means coming together. Success means no, That's a matrix belief. There is no success only comes in this form. There's only recognizing the truth with a capital T, which is what? There's only one essence here of the divine that runs through you. Once you remove the veil, the duality, the separation consciousness, the lack mindset, them versus me. No. Suffering, separation, feeling unloved here, and trying to seek validation through external sources, people, places, things. When I'm successful, I feel better. When I have certain people, I feel better. It's like, no, why? This is what Spirit wants you to rid. You're not going to only feel good when people are in your world. You're not only going to feel good when you have certain things. Yes, that might have been your past experience. And so you believe it to be true and a thing. And Spirit is saying you're going to experience true happiness brewing from the inside, but you have to generate that before you can come together and have your 10 cups with a person, place, or thing, or by yourself. However this 10 cups unfolds, I think for you guys, it's with a person, because some of you guys are on this twin flame journey. Some of you guys are on this karmic cycle. Some of you guys are being shown the light. Okay, but the light can only be experienced and the connection can only be experienced, and the joy here, once we shed this egoic belief that's really trapped here in this solar plexus, this is 6 wands energy. Okay, so it's either 6 wands, I win, or it's failure, I don't win, and I'm not seen and I'm not appreciated. What's that feeding? The vanity. What's that feeding? My own ego, building me up, seeing me the way I want to be seen, seeing me and giving me the kudos. Then it's sufficient. Then I'm enough. No. What do you mean then you're enough? It's just your mind story telling you this. You're already enough. What's the bar? What's the limit? Why is that sufficient and other things aren't? Who made that up? That's very subjective. Why is your saying of it the be all end all of it? Like your understanding here is nothing but an experience and a veil that's twisted. And you're using it to dictate whether you're happy or not, whether there's success or not. And as long as you carry that understanding and integrate that sort of an ego, you'll forever feel disappointed because people will disappoint. Situations you might not attain. You'll forever be chasing this hamster wheel of the next best thing, or you wanting to change yourself in a way here that it doesn't require any changes. The only thing that it requires is you to be yourself. Let's read this great serpent here. Number 45. Okay. Ouroboros, the great serpent, the tail eater, the guardian quantum realm. The Ouroboros is the all-encompassing glyph of alchemical process. The hungry snake bends itself around you in a gesture of protection and guardianship, giving you the space and safety to participate in the work. Anything and everything can be offered into its mouth, its transformation, good, bad, blasphemous, or precious. The materials of our life transmute into gems. Along the great serpent's spine, along with your woes, the Ouroboros engulfs every pair of opposites. What is masculine becomes feminine. What is sky becomes earth. What is past becomes future. When this card appears, you have entered the quantum realm. Everything is a possibility. No one knows the limits of the Ouroboros. Just when you fell into thinking that your life was straightening out, the snake takes you once again into its gaping mouth for an entirely new trajectory. Go deeper. Look at the 1889 sketching of the Die Sensuality by Franz von Stuck. To ponder, your iris encircling the pupil. It says, this card runs in tandem with the rotatio card. If both appear in one reading, you are certainly caught in a loop, perhaps even a hamster wheel that will take advanced effort to exit. Did I not say hamster wheel? Alrighty, so note that the great serpent eats itself, not others. Very important here. The work starts and ends with the alchemists themselves. Through this remembrance, the alchemist The alchemist learns to service the world. So, gorgeous angels. The ego is eating you alive. Your pride is eating you alive. Okay? And as long as we're humble and we work on deconstructing this ego and transmuting this, it's going on in the solar plexus. And so now I'm bringing these out again, which I've brought out many times, so that we understand what's going on here, especially if some of you guys who resonate being on this twin flame journey, or a journey here in which we're being called to shed our ego so that we can ascend. Okay, well, we're all being called to ascend in this new earth, but this is why we're suffering. Okay, we're being called to bring masculine and feminine into balance. The only way to bring masculine and feminine into balance is to transmute ego. These lower chakras, the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus, is where blocks are housed. This is the matrix energy of the chakras, okay? These are the spiritual chakras. There's never blocks in the spiritual, okay? And I know we hear like a throat chakra block or my third eye is blocked. No, the only reason these spiritual chakras are ever blocked, as my email goes off confirming, is because we have a clog here. Okay, energy flows from the bottom up. This is what's called the Kundalini. Okay, it has many other words, but it's like energy. The prana flows from the bottom up. So I feel a lot of you guys might be going through a spiritual awakening, a Kundalini, where we're needing to transmute blocks in the lower chakras so that energy can flow all the way up and go through opening up our spiritual realms. Okay, we get more downloads. We start to see intuitive visions here with the third eye. We start to speak our authenticity, and we don't wear masks, and we're not so fixated on the egoic sort of understanding of who we used to be based on our own vanity and our pride. Okay, so this is the solar plexus. So I feel you have a lot of blocks here. Okay, and when we're sort of moving energy through these, this is sort of the last stop before we open up the heart chakra. So when we're on a journey of opening heart chakra, it's a painful process because the energy is trying to push up and it's stuck here. And so it's trying to transmute the block of the ego. Okay, this energy is one of people who are really believing in, let's say, the law of attraction. And there's nothing wrong with laws of attraction. It is a thing, okay? But when we first enter into spirituality, we're kind of stuck here. I want to manifest that dream relationship. Positive, the power of positive thinking, positive affirmation. If I think it, it's going to happen. It's going to manifest the Lamborghini, the house, the partner, the whatever. This is still ego. This is not spiritual. Yes, it's moving through spiritual and we're all on our journey. So it is a part of the spiritual journey, but it's still in the lower three chakras. It's still blocked here. You're opening your heart space. This is balance. Okay. So when we, again, to tie it back to a twin flame journey, because I know some of you guys are on this journey, working with someone, another energy here to meet in the heart center, we have to transmute this so that we could come with a balanced state of masculine and feminine energy and transmute this ego and open the heart. So I always talk about unconditional love, letting go of resentments, anger, suffering, so that our heart space is open with compassion. Okay, not seeing from what is it for me, what can I attain? So we're always checking our intentions. It's like, am I loving this person and accepting them as they are? That is love. Okay, but in order to work through opening this heart space, we have to get out of our own way. Right now, you're wanting something at the cost of your person. If they're happy doing this, okay, we know that they're probably not if they chose some other cup that wasn't really, I don't know, whatever they chose, it probably wasn't good according to you. Who cares? They chose it. Love them for how they are and accept them how they are. Okay, but when we get in our own way with this solar plexus energy, it's like, I have confidence and a vision, but it's really vanity of what I need to be shown in order to prop me up. We need to transmute all this, okay? All of this. And all these chakras, the root and the sacral, have different sort of challenges when it comes to ego. Some talk about addictions, okay, depression, understanding where we're not capable enough, or sacral, where we can't trust and we have troubles with vulnerability and, you know, that sort of thing. Emotional blocks, stories of the past, they're still hanging on to. And then the solar plexus. Challenge with our own confidence, the way we see yourself, our own willpower. And it could be towards the good or the bad, a lack of willpower, or thinking that our willpower is the answer, that we're the doer, that I make things happen. I'm the one in charge of creating my future. I'm successful and I have all this control. It's like, no, that's vanity. And there's a need to be humble and kicking it back to spirit. I know nothing, spirit. Okay? I know nothing. I'm only able to do what I do through you, through the power that you've given to me. Okay? Like, how can you describe knowing how to do anything? Walking, talking, fingers moving, like it just happens. You don't know how to concoct the cells and make all these little neurons happen and fire at all these times. No, spirit's doing all this. There's nothing you're doing. Okay, but I feel like you think you have some sort of power that you're doing or creating something here, and you have a lot of pride, and this is the thing that's getting in your way right now. We need to humble ourselves. We need to allow and accept this person. This doesn't mean I want them to treat me poorly. This doesn't mean I refuse to feel sad. This just means I feel sad and I need to understand why I feel sad. I'm seeing this as an emotional upset or a failure, or that this person isn't bringing me something I deserve or I need or I want. No, you don't need this person. You don't need anything here. You're already whole and complete. And once you transmute this, you'll feel it in your heart. You'll feel love for this person. You'll feel love for yourself. You'll accept things as they are. And you'll start to really fly in the spiritual realms of everything here. But you can't get here in this beautiful spiritual realms, and we'll keep, positive affirmations about the Ferrari and the house. It's like, no. I mean, anyone could want what they want here, but we know when we're more in these spiritual realms, it's like we want to devote ourselves to, service to others and compassion and, all of this type of stuff. We're not manifesting these like more material things. So I feel like we're still in the matrix, still wanting to manifest material things, and to say, well, am I not allowed to have these material things? It's like, yes, you're allowed to have the material things and they will come in the abundance. But Spirit wants to work with your mindset, because this is what's challenging in manifesting those things. Because ironically, once you understand that these things are already yours, they're already abundance. Abundance is already yours. You can already cultivate this. You don't need to wait or attach to someone else or chase it or desire it. It's already yours. That means you've transmuted this. There's no need for you to do positive affirmations, and no, it's already yours. It's kind of silly, thinking about when I have to positively think. It's like, no, you don't got to positively think. You already know. You're already here, in the spiritual realm of knowing, understanding, all things possible. Everything manifests all at once. And either I'm in line in the dance of the universe, or I'm over here wishing, hoping, praying, getting in my own way. And so it's really up to you. And what you're not seeing now is you're getting in your own way with your ego, with your mind stories, with saying what you deserve and what needs to happen. And as long as you're there, you'll continuously feel unloved, rejected, and like your love is out there, like someone out there is going to give you that in which you seek. And it's like, no, you got to find it in yourself. Spirit keeps this in front of you so you could find it in yourself. But how do we find it in self when this big thing is getting in the way? Transmute this and you will see the beautiful self shining through. Okay? But we have to transmute this. We can't go seeking something when there's a big block. It's like something's getting in the way of your sun. And it's your own belief in your own story. And so I feel like we really need to sort of look at that. Okay? So let's see guidance here. Do we have time? I feel like I've been talking forever. Yeah, we have time, because I think this thing only records for 3 hours and cuts out. So, beautiful angels, let's take a look. Spirit, clear and concise message for a beautiful angel. Pile number 4. What is their guidance and their advice here to be called to do? So we do got to definitely transmute this energy. Okay, not see what this person needs to do or say or how the outside circumstance needs to change. It's like, what can I do inside myself to release myself from the suffering, to undo this belief, to work on this ego, this pride, this story I tell myself of success and failure, only looks in certain ways. That's what's going to heal me. Okay, that's the keys to the kingdom right here, what I'm telling you. We got to transmute this, or else we'll always feel this person, another person, inner world. It doesn't matter. That hamster wheel keeps going. The ego is never satisfied. We got to humble ourselves. Okay, this doesn't mean that you're a cocky person. You could be the nicest person ever. And I trust that you are, but it's funny because people will say, no, that's not my pile. Meanwhile, they're the biggest ego because they see themselves from this light. I'm this wonderful, beautiful, caring person. And it's like, no, you're not. You're just present moment energy, period. There's no positive. There's no negative. There's nothing. There's everything and there's nothing at the same time. There's no story. Okay, so what do we have? Beaver spirit, lay a foundation. Number 6. 6 is lovers. Lovers is Gemini. The choice is yours. There's a destined lover's path here. No doubt about it. Okay, this is probably why I went off about the twin flame thing, because I do feel there's a destined partner. And if it's not this person, because you don't want them back, that's fine. Then who is this destined partner? It's not going to open up until we resolve the ego. This is why this was shown to us. So we could lay the foundation. And the foundation of what? Who we truly are. Not who we were masked up, not who we think we are, not who we defend ourselves with this win-loss mentality, but who we truly are. We have to build a solid foundation for it to be successful. Masculine, feminine balance. Okay, earth energy pulling through here. Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn energy, more earth. Okay, 62. So number 8, turtle spirit, slow and steady wins the race. So I'm getting Leo as well with the number 8. So 8 is about movement and change. 8 is also star, which is healing. And I'm really getting destined lover here with the star and the lovers. You're on a destined path, divinely protected and guided here. Okay, let's kick it back to the ego to look at this ourselves, not what this person needs to do, okay? Because I feel we want to attain the star. You know, and 8 is also the strength card in the tarot, which is ego. It's our ego getting in the way. It's our own pride getting in our way. That's the block, okay? Beavers build dams with the block, and I'm seeing a big block shell. So what I'm seeing here is a big block in the ego, in the chakra, that needs to be transmuted so things can flow again. And we could build stability here and go down this lover's destined path. Okay, Sandpiper, be playful. 51, another 6, 6, 6. Okay, 6 is about problem solving, about compassion, about harmony. Okay, 6 is also devil energy, Capricorn energy. We could be very unhealthy in the cycles and the patterns of what we tell ourselves, things we need to shed and heal, but we keep repeating ourselves on the hamster wheel, thinking we're separate, thinking the same thoughts. It's like, drop that thought, trust in what I'm saying here, what Spirit's communicating. Even if you don't believe it, try it. If you're suffering, try this, because we've tried this. We keep repeating things. Suffering, feeling at a loss, feeling unloved. No more, okay? So have fun with this experience by saying, sure, maybe I believe this, but let me try to, just play devil's advocate here and peel back some of this ego I have and this pride. You're being asked to dismantle this belief system, okay? Otter spirit, you are never done with 42. So another 6. 6, 6, 6, and then there's a 6 here. So 66. Service is a source of joy in which one pours from an overflowing cup and not martyrdom. What does this mean? Your cup is being worked on to be overflowing. And I feel like you're martyring yourself in some way by putting yourself out there in a relationship, giving of yourself, putting yourself out there before you're ready. You're not ready yet. Your cup needs to be overflowing, or else what are you giving to this person? You're wanting to take. You're wanting them to be something for you. You're not providing something for anyone except wanting to receive, so I could feel whole. So my cup could be whole. And Spirit's saying, this is why this happened. You're going to fill your own cup. You don't need anyone to fill it. And once your cup is full and you cultivate it from within and you get rid of these egos, then you could come together with this person like two little beautiful otters. You're learning about heart. Okay, heart is compassion. Heart is accepting people where they're at, how they are, accepting, loving them and saying, I love them because I love them. Not for what they can do, not for what I can take. And even though it might hurt me, why does it hurt me? Why is it hurting me? Did I just say you are never complete? You are never alone. Oh my goodness, I don't think I read it as it alone, but now it's really standing out. You are never alone. What does this mean? This is all about unity consciousness, one source, divine source, okay, God, call it whatever you will. I'll call it God. It's my channel and I know what I'm talking about. God, source, okay, is coming through with this beautiful essence through all of us. You're tied back to this person. You're not feeling it. You're not connected to it. This journey, this experience is getting you to feel the oneness. We can't see things as separate. And the illusion is because in the Matrix, it's creating this illusion. We see the world in front of us, and so we feel it's separate, but that's an illusion. That's the Matrix. It's not true. The manifest is happening in the world, and we're witnessing it, but behind the manifest is the essence. And so you and this person, you and everyone share this beautiful essence. Okay, that's why life isn't forever. We die, things are born, words come into existence and out of existence, relationships come into existence and out of existence. It's forever flowing. There's nothing solid about the manifestations in the 3D. They're forever changing. It's constant. But the one thing that is constant is the divine light. The thing that you share with this person is constant, whether you're alive, dead, they're together, not together, you're pooping, not pooping, eating, not eating, you're at work, they're at home, doesn't matter, okay? You're having to connect to this light. And until you connect here, it's like the block is getting in the way of getting to this heart. And so think of it as I want to get into my compassion. I want to get into my acceptance. I want to break free from the suffering and the pain where I feel out in the cold and that they rejected me and didn't choose me. How do we do this? Look at ourselves. Look at our ego. Look at our pride. Look at our expectations. What do we want from this person? Why is it a win-lose? Listen to what you're telling yourself. It's not true. It's stemming from that solar plexus energy, a need to attain. That desire, then I'll be whole, then I'll be complete. Once I have that Lamborghini, once I'm in the arms of this person, once I have this checked off, Otherwise, I'm a failure, I'm incomplete, I didn't get it, I'm deficient. No, that's a misconception. It's a block. It's a belief. Deconstruct that, okay? Might take some time. Be patient. Be loving. Be accepting. Have compassion. Show yourself grace. Okay, then we break through this beautiful light. The light comes through. We don't have to seek our essence. The essence breaks through once the negative energy gets transmuted. And I say negative, not that it's bad. It's negative polarity. It's beliefs that are low energy, low vibe. It's not true. It's a perception. It's a veil. It's an illusion of something, okay? But it's as true as we believe it to be. And so we're asked to shed all this stuff so we could become reborn in the truth of who we are, which is divine being, okay? Full of love, a full overflowing cup. And then we can present it to someone, this person or someone else. There's a divine path with the lovers here that you're going to experience. You will experience this union of love only when you are in a full cup, when you're able to give it to another. Otherwise, we experience the suffering. Okay, so beautiful angels. This is your reading. I hope this helped you. I love you guys very, very much, and I will see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Welcome to the disclaimer. Don't get fooled by people scamming you in the comments section. If you're interested in a private reading, all my contact information is in the description box, and there you will find my website, and that is only through my website can you book private readings at this time. And for those of you guys new to the tarot, tarot does not predict your future. Tarot is not set in stone. Tarot is reflecting back to you a state of consciousness that is something you can either resonate with or not. And so it's very important that you are in tune with your intuition so that you know whether the pile you're picking, the information coming through, is reflecting back to you your own intuition, state of consciousness, your subconscious, and this will be the best way for you to know that the message is indeed meant for you. So if your intuition is not clear or it's cloudy, then you might be tapping into the wrong pile, or information might be coming through that is not dictating whatever your circumstance situation is. So it is important that you work with the divine to develop your intuition Best way is to sit through the card layout, which I do include with most of my readings, where you can ask the divine to come up with what you'll see, feel, or hear to determine whether the pile makes sense for you. And so you can ask the divine to show you those signs, symbols, synchronicities, either throughout your dreams or throughout your day, and certainly throughout the reading, so that you can be assured that the messages you're tapping into are the right messages for you. If you are drawn to multiple piles with the pick a card readings, listen to your intuition. A lot of times energy is interconnected, and in this channel, a lot of times all my piles could be interconnected. So do not feel obligated to only select one or all or none. It is definitely up to you and your intuition. If you are in a pile and it is not resonating, there is no need to continue listening to that pile. If it doesn't resonate, sometimes it gives us perspective so that we know what is resonating for us. So even piles that do not resonate could provide some insight. Keep in mind that if you have strong energy in your presence, other people, situations, that could be quite heavy energetically or strong energetically, spiritually heavy, those might pull through the pile. So it might not be your energy that I'm picking up, but your situation, your circumstance, or people that you're dealing with. It's up to you to keep an open mind in regards to what it is that I'm connecting to, if it is resonating to your story. Do not take any messages that don't belong to you. There will be specific messages that come through for certain individuals, even though the pile might be your pile, but the specific message does not connect to you. Do not take those messages. Only take the ones that resonate for you. It should be the overall energy in that pile that is resonating to your story. It is the gist of that energy that should be overall the story or the energy of the situation, circumstance, or the person that I'm tapping into. If you are unprepared to listen to difficult messages, messages that offer healing, messages that might provide someone else's perspective that we're not quite ready to listen to, it might be a good time to come back when we're fully healed or prepared to listen to messages. My commitment to you is to read the cards with transparency and as much compassion as I can. It is difficult for me to provide you with any guidance in the comments section without knowing your specific situation. A lot of times the piles do come reversed and they might not match the exact description of the reading. And although I am posting the description of that reading, my intention is to always deliver that in which the description talks about. But sometimes spirit comes through with the mere reflection of either something objectively pulling through, some guidance pulling through, or something completely unrelated. And that is not up to me, and I certainly don't select what comes through. But Spirit knows when you will click on whichever video in order for you to hear the messages that are being pulled through. It might just be for one person, and that one person was needing to hear it. So if you are frustrated with that, it's early to tell in a reading whether it is resonating or not, especially if we've sat through the card layout. Again, do not feel obligated to take any messages that aren't for you. You can certainly switch your own situation, circumstance, or energy based on the reading you get. So if a reading does resonate, but you want a different outcome, then utilize the reading in order for you to make conscious choices, different decisions, guide the energy in a specific way that you want it to go. This is why we utilize the tarot and the oracle cards in order for us to be conscious of the energy and make shifts. Energy shifts very fast, and it is formless, and it is not time-bound, meaning I could be tapping into present, future, or past situations. If an energy feels like it's an old energy, it's past, you might want to go check out another pile. There could be one that's talking to your current situation, or we could be looking at a future state of consciousness. These readings might not make any sense to you at the time because it is beyond your level of comprehension. You might want to come back to these readings at a later date. That's why all these readings are timeless unless otherwise stated. And so, as I mentioned, it is up to you, depending on when you click on the reading, to know whether it is useful information to help guide you. All of my readings offer a level of healing, whether it is understanding someone else's perspective, if it is understanding our own perspective, tapping into subconscious energies, or looking at objective situations from the point of view of the creator. All information helps us to put the pieces of the puzzle together so that we can make better decisions when we're involved with difficult or challenging people or circumstances. This is the reason I do the tarot. I do not do the tarot so that we can dwell in hurts and in pain. So if we're suffering, we're allowed to feel how we feel. Pain is inevitable. We all suffer from pain, but the suffering is certainly up to us. And my mission is that we release suffering. Undue suffering does not need to persist. If we choose to suffer, it is because we're making a decision to stay in the suffering. The choice is always ours to get out of suffering. And so sometimes we don't like to hear what it is that's being communicated because it might release us or relieve us from stories, from comfort zones, from pains and clutches that we've used in the past in order for us to feel safe, in order for us to remain in our comfort zone. And as I mentioned, healing isn't always easy. So it is sometimes very difficult for us to acknowledge truths because sometimes a comforting lie is what we choose to believe in. I do not feed comforting lies. I will not read information or readings here that provide you a level of comfort and water the truth down. I don't want you to leave here feeling a false sense of security, but I do want you to leave with a sense that I justified your own intuition, your own energy and suspicion, or whatever you were wanting to confirm with the divine. I also want to make mention that I am not everybody's reader. So at times my voice is annoying, even to myself. And sometimes I deliver messages that aren't quite as concise as they can be. Spirit knows which words I will use in order to channel the information that my soul tribe, the people being drawn to the reading, need to hear. So those words are crafted by the design. I don't spend a whole bunch of time trying to analyze. I do know when it feels right, and I do know that sometimes it's a struggle to come up with a word that can define energy. Energy is not words. Energy can't fit into words. And so sometimes these readings could be a lot of repeating the same thing as I'm trying to find the right word. And if you've tried channeling, you'll notice that a lot of people who channel, they do repeat a lot of words until the right word comes through. Sometimes readings, unfortunately, don't make sense until the very end. And we might go down one path only to find that the answer was something else, or that the reading was something else completely. I don't intend this. Some days my channeling is very strong, and other days it is difficult for me to follow. And sometimes, if it is difficult for me to follow, it can make complete sense on your end, but the delivery on my end might sound a little chaotic or confused because I don't understand everyone's situation and circumstance. Keep in mind, these are general readings, and these readings touch a lot of people, a lot of viewers. If you don't connect with my style, if you don't connect with the readings, then I do suggest you go find another reader. There's many on YouTube. And it could just be the reading or the pile wasn't your fit. So you might want to try another reading from my playlist. And I do hope you guys stay. And I do hope to connect with you guys. I do read all your comments. I do try to reach out to you guys, all of you guys. And if I don't, rest assured, I do see your comments. And I send so much love to you guys. I appreciate you guys very much. And I'm so honored to do this journey with you guys. Bless you and God bless.